mucked up metals, what's it all worth? Learning together under the sun, natural philosophy till the day is done. Open your mind, let it all unwind. Copper bones and cosmic dust, in what do you trust? Open your mind, leave the past behind. We're all just stardust, breaking free from rust. Anthropology, ancient human tales, astronomy, secrets beyond the cosmic veils, psychedelics, mind-bending flight, consciousness expanding into endless light. Open your mind, let it all unwind. Copper bones and cosmic dust, in what do you trust? Open your mind, leave the past behind. We're all just stardust, breaking free from rust. You crew wisdom, a collaborative dream. No more blind alleys, just a flowing stream. Question everything, seek what is true. The universe waits for me and for you. Open your mind, let it all unwind. Copper. Open your mind, leave the past behind. We're all just stardust, breaking free from rust.
Whoa.
Y'all like my song?
I
Y'all remember
love
when we
it.
all recorded that in a studio yesterday?
Bravo.
I love it. I love it.
Bravo.
Very cute.
Welcome
So,
everyone to another UU Cruise session.
ta-da.
Ta-da!
Happy to be here. Ricardo, look at you showing up from somebody else's office. How did you manage that?
Shh. See if they
Yeah.
don't notice. I just sneak in.
It looks
Hey,
like you're
G.
fixing to play
Yeah, this
ping
is-
pong
this
with
is-
Lieutenant Dan.
This is what they call the skylight room. 'Cause
The
it has-
skylight room. That's where you guys lay out the maps. Yeah.
Yes, on that table. Right.
So it's not a basement. It looks like a Midwestern church basement or something.
No, I'm actually on the ceiling.
Oh, brilliant. Nice.
You can see the sky right there.
Oh,
Nice.
very good. Good.
Yeah,
It's good lighting.
it is.
And on the day
Well-
of the tornado is also funny because you can see everything that's going on in the sky
Oh,
while
cool.
you're running to the basement.
You can see the impending doom on the way.
Ricardo was just informing us about his dreams as of late, and they've been
No.
sidelining
This
on
is
me.
actually true. I've been through
Oh.
two.
Yeah, they had tornado warnings the other day.
two tornado warnings. One of them I
Oh.
was here. The other one,
Oh,
I was
is this your first experience with tornado warnings?
no. I had lots of experience. Of course, it was my first
Oh.
experience. No tornadoes.
So what was the response? What were you coached to do? Anything?
Well, so Jim's phone started to sound like a fire car, a siren. So, and I was, what's going on, right? We knew, I had the alerts on the phone saying that there will be flood, tornado alert, and so on. And then his phone starts to make that sound that they must have a system.
It's like an
of alert.
emergency alert that goes across the
The
cellular
siren
network.
outside was sounding. His phone was ringing, and
They
so
don't
I
have
asked
this
him.
in Portugal, I'm guessing.
No.
No.
So I asked
Well, you
him.
need a shadow government and the Federal Emergency Management Association to.
There you go.
It's a good service. If you think about it, it's a good service.
Sure.
So seriously,
sure.
did they coach you to not take up all the time, but they coach you to look for it? Did you take shelter? Well, I'm always
No,
curious.
they were
as to-
instructing. They were instructing on the phone to go immediately to the basement of the building or try to take shelter as best as possible.
Oh,
So obviously, what we did was going outside and see
And-
how's the
Obviously.
weather.
and pull a
Okay,
looky-loo.
Good. Yeah. That's
is
the
happening?
proper response.
That's
I
right.
grew up, and Sarah's probably got a lot of experience, but here in Alabama, they call it. I mean, it's one of the tornado alleys here through the southeast. So that's just a nonstop part of childhood. I mean, it's a nonstop part of life, but you grow up with all spring and into the summer. Tornado drills. As a kid, you remember the doors being open on either end of the hallways, and you'd have to go get in the hallway and stick your head down on the ground. You remember
Right here and put a book
Yes.
over your head,
That's it.
like that's gonna do anything.
Right. All that
Thanks for this
weird ass
spinal cord injury.
experience. Down there with your head on the ground, smelling that, thinking about how dirty it is, or it's just fresh Lysol you're breathing
Ew.
in, and wondering, looking over there at the girl that you kind of like, wondering, oh no, can she see me? I didn't wear the right underwear for this. It's just a terribly traumatic
I
affair.
was always scared that like my butt crack would be showing or something, and I was like, oh, it's just horrid. It's
Well,
horrible
and
experience.
none of it was the logical response. I
I'm
mean,
sorry. It seems that I changed the channels. I'm on another program right now.
Well, you're in somebody else's
I lost
office.
how
so-
tornadoes link to butt cracks. I just got lost in somewhere.
Because they make you
America.
go in the hall, man, and then you put your head down, and like you put your head down on the ground, right, and on your
Mhm.
knees
So your
with
butt's
your
up
butt
in the air.
Yeah, and you'll grab like one of your school books, and you'll take it and you'll put it over your head for flying debris, and they'll
That's
open
so stupid.
they'll open the doors on either end of the hallway, so it's in open
So the
free
cross
air.
breed. Yeah.
Because they say the pressure would shatter it if it was a direct hit, and if it's that close to bring the pressure like that, man, I mean, there's
Sure.
you're won't
That
worry
book
about the
ain't doing
roof,
shit.
right? know.
You know,
Look at
that's
his
exactly why every time you fly, they keep the door of the plane open so that there is no
Sure.
disturbance.
Sure,
That
yeah.
that makes no sense whatsoever.
You need to upgrade your next flight. I feel like you're taking the wrong airline. Yeah.
Well, I'm proud of you for handling tornado properly. Go outside and look for it.
Oh, I
You're gonna
handled
hear
it.
it probably before you see it.
It was 30 miles north, so I handled it beautifully. We check on the radar.
You got some nice photographs, probably. though. You.
Tornado butt crack. That's funny.
It's American culture now.
Absolutely.
Naders and butt cracks.
Yeah.
And so, hi, Octopus, and hi, Jen.
Is that why they
is
look
who
like
does
butt
good.
cracks, maters?
Naders.
Naders,
You
maters.
said
Two
maters.
totally different things.
Maters. My bad.
Naders.
No,
You can tell
Naders.
Alabama's talking.
thanks to the absence of global warming, but the real presence of climate change,
Mm.
Portugal has becoming more and more aggressive in terms of weather. So we didn't have any kind of storm. Now we had a few tornadoes up north and winds that take the roofs that never happened before. Not a tornado, but strong winds.
Flooding. You guys have flooding there too.
Yeah, a lot of flooding. It rained this year. It rained for 3 weeks without stop.
Wild.
Without stop. They were getting insane, crazy. What's going on? Is the deluge again? So
It hasn't rained here all month.
but
Nothing.
Nothing. April showers.
Wow.
None.
Wow.
but you used to have
Yeah,
when I
it's
was a
about the
kid.
same
I
here.
used to have 4 seasons.
Hmm.
There were 4 seasons. Now
Hmm.
it's 4 seasons in a day. Every day is 4 seasons.
Hmm.
And we used to be like, I don't know how to say it in Fahrenheit, but close to 100 in the night, in the summer, right? It was real hot in the night. Now the nights, the temperature drops dramatically. Which it's summer, the whole summer I had two good nights the last summer I spent in Portugal. There were 2 hot nights, the rest were all cold. You have hot during the day, but then it gets cold during the nights, getting like desert like.
Yeah.
So
It's been so weird here too. So I mean, we haven't had rain, which is great for the explorer in me because I was out of the Coosa today, and man, the water levels are down and they're perfect, right? But it's the same thing, man. Last week we were hitting like 90, right? Like out of nowhere, we come out and we got 90 all week. I mean, it's just hot. Now then we dive. This week we get like a 5-second rain shower, right? And now I'm hitting like 77 in the day, but at night I'm down at like 44. It's like
Mm.
cold. It's weird all over. But we're in the same, Sarah. Not enough rain for at least not what's needed. But blessedly, that means none of those naders so far either.
yeah,
Means
and-
no produce either, though.
Yeah, it's true. Which makes you wonder. Makes you wonder about the intentionality and the timing of all of this stuff. Just a little bit, you know.
Hmm.
Let's short resources around the world. Maybe. I mean, you know,
It's
geoengineering
like
is.
somebody flipped a switch. Yeah.
It's kind of like that, isn't it?
I heard that tonight is the day of the Lyrids. So it's the best night to watch
I did see a poster with that. Yeah.
the
Meteors?
falling stars. So
Yeah.
today is the strongest day of the Lyrids. So
Nice.
I won't see them unless they can be seen through the thick cloud of smoke from the wildfires.
well, if
That's
there is
right.
clouds and you can see them, run.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not going to run.
See them
There's
coming
no
through
point in
the
running.
clouds. They are not a meteor shower. There's something different.
I'm going to just take the tornado position because that's all I know to do.
Well, in here, I was getting out of the house and in the secondary roads or whatever this connects to the driveways of where the house is, and I passed through one of the houses almost in front of the driveway, and there is this 2 cars filled with pillows. There was pillows tied to the cars all over, right? And
Okay.
it's if the tree fall because the tree has just fallen the day before on top of the 2 cars of the house on the end of the road, so they got both cars destroyed on the same day. And I thought, well, that those pillows won't do anything for the tree. So, but then Jim explained to me they had baseball size hail.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so they were trying to prevent the cars from the baseball size hail that was falling down. If he hits a person
That's
on that size, and
Yeah.
That's gonna give you brain damage.
yes,
Yeah.
deadly.
You're
I
going to
mean,
be eaten through a straw.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And chances are, I mean, they don't fall alone, right? You know, it's
yeah.
if you've ever
Normally
been
they
through
move
a
in
hailstone,
groups. Yeah.
you know, it's like a pummeling, man. I when I was a kid, I was caught in a couple, and you know they were tiny, right? But they stung like hell, and you ran
Mm.
for cover, man. You know, I remember finding a tree, and it doesn't last long, thank goodness, but it hurts.
So
like
we know
little
where the Jews
BBs.
got the idea then.
The stoning people.
Oh, that works.
But wait, I haven't done anything yet.
If you get
Is
God
there
to
any
throw 'em,
woman?
you gotta
Is
throw
there
'em
any
yourself.
woman in this group?
Is there a one? No,
No, no.
no. Shut up.
Oh wow.
Stone him,
Okay.
cheating
Okay.
bastard.
Oh my god.
Life of Brian. Okay, for those. Who...
Monty Python, still alive and well, no
Mhm.
doubt. So
Well, yes.
So was there was I'm going to be honest. I showed up totally forgetting we were doing this today.
did?
I thought I was.
Where are we?
I thought I was going to check on Sarah, audience, because I knew about these fires she mentioned, and so my head, as I'm running around going to pick up my kid and stuff, goes, better check on the fires. I check on Sarah, and I see here's the link for the show. Oh, there's another type fire.
Oh my gosh, we're doing you
Oops.
crew today, so we're happy that you showed up, Jason.
Well, I instantly remembered all that. We've been doing so much. It's all it is. I'm not just a Looney Tune, but I'm not used to doing 2 or 3 or whatever a day. And then I'm still trying to tackle sort of doing my own thing, and I'm going out recording, and that's all I was doing today. I was like, where am I going to go today? Let's take Jacob swimming. Let's go to the Coosa, And then fortuitously, Charlotte's like, hey, I need you to get me today. And I'm like, yeah, rock and roll. And then I was in the right place at the right time to sit down with you guys, thankfully.
Gene wants to talk about Mars.
Jean, of course you want to talk about Mars. We've got Jean Ward from Mars Disclosure Live project, which we've all been proud to be involved in. And Jean is an independent researcher in South Africa doing his utmost to expose to the world these anomalies that are contained within the NASA published pictures on Mars. What's up, Jean?
Yeah, you guys had a good episode on Sunday.
John, if you have any idea about that iPhone footage, put it on the comments. I would love to see what's your opinion on that.
Oh, the view of Earth around the edge of the moon.
Yeah, like a ship flying at 40,000 kilometers an hour, and the moon. It's always the same.
Stanley Kubrick level magic happening there.
Yeah, John, if you've seen that on X or wherever, there's a cell phone video. I'm sure you've probably seen it. So we'd love your feedback.
Look, I ask Grok, because Grok can watch videos from X. So I watch Grok to tell me what were the inconsistencies, what was wrong with that video, right? And so I see Grok syncing, because I have it in expert mode, and he's syncing, and he's saying the Earth should have disappeared after 33 seconds, not 43. The speed is wrong. The moon is not moving. The ship doesn't wobble. So he was presenting all the problems, right? And I'm watching this in real time. And then finally, after a long time, he gave me a final answer. There is nothing wrong with this video. That's exactly what you would have seen if you were taking a picture from a ship. It's the angle that makes the moon does not move. So now we know that if you look at a car that is going to run you over, just look at him as an angle and you'll stop immediately.
Okay.
It will not run
advice,
you
Ricardo.
over. Right?
Well, he's making a physics joke there about the way the moon and the Earth are moving.
He contradicted completely. He contradicted himself completely from the thoughts he was having and the reflections and problems. Yeah. And then finally, when he gave me the answer, was everything is perfect. That's exactly what you're going to see.
I don't know, y'all. I don't know about the physics, necessarily. Now, a lot of it just doesn't make sense to me. That could be because I'm retarded or because there's something off with it. I don't know. But what I do know is if they all had their iPhones with them, I mean, you guys should see my iPhone. Everywhere I go, there's something new. I can hardly enjoy it now that I'm sharing content because I'm like, I got to take a 30-second of the waterfall. Now I got to get a second of me with the waterfall. And my phone's just eat up. So what's going to happen?
Full of stuff, right?
Right. So all I'm asking is where are the other videos?
Where's the other videos that got took?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And where's if there were however many other cell phones, where are those videos? Let's see the goods. Let's see everybody floating around bitching about I've got a shit bag on. It's been 10 days and I'm still I quit changing it. Wouldn't you have
some sort of documentation video? Yeah.
When I get back home, I don't know, maybe I'll yes, you would.
If we can stick this landing, I promise to never Look,
I understand that it would take a lot of space on a new phone with high quality, recording the whhole time. The phone wouldn't have a space.
It should still have had enough space.
Okay, but let's give them that excuse.
Dude, no.
Have NASA heard of one thing called time lapse?
There's just not even any excuse.
It's not
in my
even an
opinion.
issue. Have you
Yeah.
seen every video I've ever put out on YouTube? And it's like, for instance, I just put one together yesterday of one trip up the creek, dude, and it's 47 minutes, okay, of just video that I snatched in an afternoon. I've got that going back 7 years, you know, for 6 years. You see, there's no benefit of the doubt. Okay, either these human beings had their cell phones and were being human beings with them, or they weren't. You know, I'm not
It's
saying
just a
which it
strange.
is.
It's just a strange idea to think that that particular video was the only capture. Do you know what I'm saying?
But one of the things they said makes it absolutely true, and Grok also said this, is the
know what
fact
you're
that
gonna say.
in the background you can hear the shutter of the Nikon camera of the other astronaut taking pictures, because you cannot
So-
possibly click the shutter button unless you are in a ship around the moon.
That's right. Nice.
All right, Teach. You're gonna have to message me that one. I want to know how to do that.
Yeah, I just learned something.
I can
That's
quit
good.
talking when I'm
That's
doing my own
good.
shows and just type.
So
Do
this
you
is
both have
this is
control,
actually
or
a
just one
UU
of
crew
you?
session.
Do you
It
both
is.
have control?
Yeah, we do.
See,
'Cause we-
Jason, you should have control too. Why don't you?
Why doesn't he? What do you mean?
When he's doing it with me, why I'm only one?
Well,
that
you
has-
guys enter into the Riverside session incorrectly. So you schedule your live Riverside session and then you both just enter in. Do you know what I'm saying? Sarah and I both have access to this Riverside. That's why we can do it. Because we're co-hosting.
So see, and I've got
Okay.
my own Riverside, so I could like
Right.
give you
Which
access.
I thought Jason was on our Riverside.
So
using
did
the
I.
Riverside.
I told him
So-
yesterday.
Yeah. On
If
Sunday,
you
I was like,
put
oh,
him
just
on ours, if you put him on ours, then both of you can operate the producer seat.
yeah. So if you give him the password, then he can enter in through the producer doorway like Sarah and I do. Do you know what I'm saying?
I think he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. He's not.
In any case,
Any
Sarah.
case, thank you all for the tech lesson. Sorry, proceed.
So
Sarah,
Jake Willem.
I heard a little story that you have a little something you want to present to friends
Well, yeah,
of
I
UU
figured
crew.
we'd all talk a little bit about what we're learning about, and something I'm learning about. Here, let me pull my little screen share up here. We share a window.
Oh, Eros Up is in the house. Hey, girl, hey.
You're
I thought you were
so
sharing Jason.
yeah.
You're going to have to Zoom.
How the hell do I do that?
I don't know, with your Zoomy button.
Control plus. Or
Just roll the mouse. Just scroll the mouse. Just
I don't
use
have
the
a
roller.
mouse.
You don't have a mouse?
Okay,
No.
then up that.
No, I have this.
Take that to 100%.
There you go.
Is that better?
That's better.
Yeah.
Well, now you can't see the whole thing.
Well, I know, but then you don't have a mouse to scroll down.
I mean, ah.
I like that one.
Leave her alone. Go back. Reboot. Original.
Is this going
That
to be
was
like
from-
last time that you got some, let's call it family pictures? Or I want to see that. Go and watch the other videos.
Do you have a keyboard?
I do, and I'm not ashamed about the pictures on my hard drive. Just so we're all clear.
Me
Y'all,
neither.
we can scroll this live. I don't give a damn. I ain't got
Control
nothing to
plus,
hide.
Control minus. You can like zoom in and out real quick. I think.
I think
You know
you're
what I mean?
right.
I need to
Jason.
be able to. I need to be able to zoom in on the actual Riverside. They need to just make it an option to just throw a freaking picture up there.
It's
You
so
have to
annoying. It is
put-
very annoying.
Yeah, you
Share
have to
function
load it
on
beforehand.
Riverside is but
You
If
can
you
you can
load it-
load shit beforehand, right?
Not photos, only
Not
videos
photos.
and audio.
And only 200 megabytes, which is ridiculous.
Yeah,
Riverside, listen up.
You're getting
I
our
can
money back
request
bit.
that.
Yeah.
I can request that as a thing. Anyway, I wanted to talk. As we're all aware, it is April, which is Autism Awareness Month.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to just highlight this in honor of my daughter Tony, who you all know, and she is level 3 profound autistic. So that's severe autism, not superpower autism, which she does. She's a superhero to me. But I want to just kind of bring awareness to different learning styles today, and not just for kids with autism, but adults with autism and
Mm.
neurotypical people, children and adults. This should not be limited to just special needs kids. We all learn differently, and it's absurd that we're still using this one size fits all approach to education in 2026 when we have the technology to tailor it to each person individually. So I just wanted to kind of go over the it's called the VARC model, which is your four main learning styles. Um,
Do
most
each
people,
letter mean something, or
yes,
visual,
about to go,
auditory, reading, and okay, I got it. Sorry, I got it.
what's the last one, Ricardo?
Sorry.
Kinetic, kinesthetic,
Kinesthetic.
kinesthetic.
Kinesthetic. That's how we know you're in somebody else's office. No.
Oh.
So most people fit not into one, but usually they have two strong points. Um, and the first one is visual, and that's what I am. Visual learners need pictures, diagrams, videos, mind maps, colors. It's a show me, don't tell me type of situation. So, like, if you can you can't remember directions until you see it on like Google Maps or something, which totally guilty. I can't tell you how to get somewhere, but like I can do it in real time. It's the craziest thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and then you have auditory or oral. So that's like an instructional listening style. That these are the lucky ones. If you're an auditory learner, you hit the jackpot because all those hours the teacher stood up there lecturing, you were able to process that. So congratulations to you. And how does it feel to be God's favorite? Um, they learn by hearing lectures, podcasts, discussions, explaining out loud. They like rhythm, rhyme, and talking it through. So if you remember a song, like song lyrics or a podcast better
Mm.
than like reading a transcript, for example, that would be someone with an auditory advantage to learning. Then you have reading and writing. They love text, books, articles, note taking, lists, writing summaries. They process best when they can read and rewrite it themselves. And this, I think Jacqueline's a reading learner. Jacqueline, are you a reading learner?
I don't want to take over your spot here and start talking. Fin- Let's talk about it after.
Okay. Um, my sister is a reading learner, and
Hmm.
like she's a total bookworm. She can sit there and read and just she can tell you what was in that book 10 years later. It's the craziest thing.
So it's a visual
Um,
memory, it's not writing, reading.
I think that it's tied into visual
I
learning.
think they're all associated, if you're asking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, sure. I think that would depend, and I'm just assuming on whether or not you have. You know how some people don't have where they can visualize things. Like if I say apple,
Yes.
they
I'll be right
can't
back.
see an apple in their head. I think that it's dependent on that, but that's
Hmm.
just an assumption that I'm making. And then the last one is kinesthetic or hands-on learning. So this is my other one that I fit into. Um, they need to do it, touch it, move it around, build it, role play it. Let me try it myself. So if you only learned to cook once you were in the kitchen burning things, that is
Hmm.
you. That that is a kinesthetic learner, and that's exactly how I learned to cook by going in there and screwing it all up. So none of these is better. They're just different operating systems. So trying to run like Windows software on a Mac, that's what you're looking at.
Sure.
That's why so many of us felt stupid in school is because it was being given to us in one way instead of
Yeah.
being tailored to the way that that's actually compatible with our learning style. So we have unbelievable tools right now that didn't exist 20 years ago. We have YouTube, TikTok, explainers in every style, AI tutors that adapt in real time, like Duolingo, Khan Academy, and ChatGPT, Grok, what have you. They can all switch modes and give it to you in a way that's, good for you. And then we also have like virtual reality and augmented reality for kinesthetic learners. So you can go learn it in the Himalayas if you want to. You know, you can go learn it with some big booty women behind the whatever if you want to,
Booty, booty, booty,
whatever
booty.
makes you, yeah, booty, booty, booty. You can learn it. Whatever makes you learn, you can tailor it. We have the technology, text to speech and diagrams on demand and interactive simulations.
Mhm.
We could customize education for every learner in seconds. So why aren't we?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, the system's still running on the 1800s factory model: one teacher, one textbook, one pace, sit still, shut up. And that model was designed to create compliant workers, not actual thinkers.
Yeah,
Well,
Um,
a system designed by the elites who didn't send their children to that system. That should tell you all you need to know, right?
yeah, their kids have private
yeah,
tutors in an
yeah,
environment that the kids were comfortable in, which is usually their home.
right.
Yeah.
So I think that Autism Awareness Month is the perfect time to say this out loud. Um, Neurodivergent brains, autistic, ADHD, dyslexic, whatever, what
Mhm.
have you. They've been screaming for tailored learning for forever, and even they don't get it the way that they should be getting it. Like it's still a
Yeah.
very much a battle, as you're all very much aware of my personal situation that I've got going on with my own daughter. So, yeah, visual support, structured routines, hands-on options. These aren't special needs accommodations; they're human needs, and neurotypical adults need them too. So if we could normalize personalized learning for everyone, autistic kids and visual learners, kinesthetic parents, auditory entrepreneurs, and stop wasting talent and start unlocking potential, I think this is going to be key to our advancement as a species. Because imagine all the people who are never living up to their potential. I mean, it's like judging what's the artistic thing they use where they judge an elephant's intelligence by its ability to climb a tree, or a fish's
Right.
intelligence by its
Fish,
ability.
fish.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Doesn't make
Yes.
it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Sending an
but
eagle to duck school.
the thing is,
Yeah.
they believe that memorization is the way to learn, which it
I
isn't.
would argue that there is some practical application of memorization.
Yeah.
Well,
There
there is,
is.
but that doesn't necessarily give you understanding of what you memorized.
No, but it gives you a foundation to think beyond.
Yeah, I mean they're all
True.
necessary, right? I mean, memorizing, dude, memorizing. I see what you're saying. Memorizing a bunch of facts for a math test or a science
Yes.
test that does nothing.
Rules,
Okay,
rules,
but
rules of application.
memorizing a few Shakespearean sonnets, now that's going to force me at least to go a little bit deeper with the text. Maybe it'll
Mm-hmm.
affect me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll remember it later in life. There is some value to that whole memorization thing. Can you tell I went to
Hey,
theater
Tammy.
school? What's up, Tammy? Yeah, I think all of them. I didn't mean
The
to steal the floor,
thespian
but
better
the
argue
thespian,
better
is
argue in favor of memorization.
members. You're damn right,
Well,
man.
Yeah.
we have to agree to disagree. Although I recognize there is some merit to memorization, because if you
Mhm.
don't memorize, then you don't know what to say, right? But you
I
need
wouldn't say I'm disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that there are instances.
I
sure
totally
the
agree
way it
with you.
works.
That
Of course,
standardized
nothing is
tests
absolute.
based on memorization is crap, dude. You're totally right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we're not dealing in absolutes here. But what I keep saying is, children are given are set loose on preschool, where they some draw, others are good with their hands creating something plastic or with
Mhm.
Legos or whatever it is. Everybody has something that they like to do more, right? And then and then you start going into first I don't know how you call it, first class. It's in Portugal, so first to fourth class, and then the first year when you're already 12 or something like that. So, but when you get to the first class, they start taking all the creation and all the artist of you and starting giving you numbers and letters, and make you memorize those numbers and letters, right? And they normalize every single children that at that point was able to express themselves, good or bad, but they were expressing themselves. So
Right.
what I keep asking is, how many Bach, Da Vinci's, how many philosophers, how many artists, how many creators, inventors are lost on the way by this normalization? If we were actually looking for improving an advanced world, we would look at these children and think, "Ooh, this one is good for that. Ooh, this one, let's explore that." Right? I couldn't care less about the scholar curriculum. Let's give this child, what she likes to do and is good at, and let's explore that. Who cares if she
Right.
doesn't know the names of the rivers,
Yeah.
or right? Because this normalization is so that everybody at the end has a chance to go into McDonald's,
Right.
or into a factory, or going into administration process, but all in an order of obligations, right, that you have to do instead of being free and create, right? Because I remember one of the most famous phrases from Dali is, he woke up and he says, "What is the great Dali going to create today?" Right? That's too much, but
That is too much.
that is too much. But he was actually good at it, and he was
Sure.
never limited because he never followed the normal rules of society. Right? That's why he maintained that freedom. So I think school should implement that and should recognize what each one individual, that's what Sarah, I think, is saying, what individual
Hmm.
abilities are, right?
Yes, because I think it's important that, for instance, Sarah, you asked me that you bet that I was a reading learner, like someone who retains from reading. And I would agree with you. But if I'm being completely honest, I went to school at a time when the consideration of the other aspects wasn't an emphasis. So I am a good learner through reading, and um, like I can, and I do have some level of recall what I read. Like I can actually see the page later on, like at a test. I can remember in high school, I would just have to picture the page and the answer would come to me. So, but I would say that that actually was a developed skill for me because I
Right.
had to compensate where I may have in certain subjects learned better visually or kinesthetically, and that's what I really needed. I had to make up for it. But I was
Yep.
one of the lucky people that could. Not everybody can do that, you know? And I would argue that because that happened to me from my perspective, I do think that it's important that we encourage people to exercise their brains in ways that are not necessarily innate to them, right?
Right.
So, how someone's not born an engineer, they have to be taught the rules of engineering in order for them to discover whether or not they're really good at that, or that form of thinking is something that they have a knack for. Do you know? So, yeah, that's just my opinion on it. I think at a young age, it's really important to, reach children where they're at, and then bring them on a journey. Don't send them on a journey necessarily,
Right.
but to guide them through the methods of learning. I think that's really important. I think that I would say knowing people who have young children in school at different stages, junior high, high school, and whatnot, at this stage in my life, I would say that schools are doing a better job of trying to provide um, an education that encompasses all these styles of learning, but that they haven't hit it yet, you know? And I don't
Yeah.
know that, I don't know how they will, to be honest, because given the style, the teaching style, like you guys were saying before, like all these kids in the classroom and sit down, shut up, and do your work, you know what I mean? Like the classroom style that we all went through and that is offered in public education and even most private institutions is I don't know that that's
Yeah, the thing is, those teachers also went through this system.
hmm
So how many teachers are there that allow discussion? There is no discussion.
yeah
This is what you have to learn. Just
yeah
stick to what is there, right? So I
yeah
don't know if you saw Goodwill Hunting.
hmm
So when that boosting guy is at the bar or the pub or whatever, and he's reciting exactly what he read on the books, right? And so the Will tells him, "Yeah, man, you're just repeating exactly from books, certain book, this page and that line. That's exactly what you're saying. I want to hear your thoughts." And he has nothing for it because all he did is to memorize that.
yeah
And so, but there is no discussion. I remember in my history classes that I failed in the seventh
you
grade.
failed history, Ricardo.
Yeah, I failed history because
Wow.
my
Same.
teacher didn't allow discussion, and I didn't agree with that because what I was finding, even without the internet, was contradicted to what she was teaching,
Okay, not surprised.
and
Continue.
she didn't like it.
Yeah.
So
I failed history while also being the only person to ever make a 100 in science in this particular teacher's class. And then I
Wow.
went home and I would build computers. Like I built my first computer from the ground up at 14 years old. But I was failing history, so it's like
Yeah.
the signs were there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they
Like,
were.
I failed math, grade 10 math. Okay. I failed it twice.
I
And had to
hate
take
math.
it. I had to take it again in grade 10. And the reason why I failed was because for one, I had the same teacher in both instances. And the teacher that I had was, Sarah, you'll be able to identify with this, was recognized throughout the school by his colleagues and by many students as a wonderful teacher, right?
He was the worst one on the
He's the
payroll. I
best.
bet.
He's the best. And I failed essentially because I honestly gave him attitude because I got so tired of going into his class and waiting for him to actually teach me something because I did need extra help with math. I needed someone to actually give a shit about whether or not I was learning the math. And all he cared about was doing magic tricks and making the students like him and joking around. And so he didn't actually teach anything, which to many of the other students was awesome. As long as you went along with it, you passed. But when I got annoyed and voiced that to him, he failed me twice. So, yeah. And something I said to Sarah recently, with the whole situation with Tony, is that in every profession that is in contact with, I mean, in every profession, but from this perspective, professions that are responsible for the well being or the growth of vulnerable people. So that's a young person, that's a person with a disability, that's a sick person, what have you. So many people in those professions do not belong in those professions. Right? It's a badge of honor. I'm a teacher, I'm a nurse, but they don't, it's about them. It's not about contributing to the healthy and helpful outcomes of the people they're responsible for, right?
it's a job, not a vocation. I think that's what you're saying. So
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think in the public institutions, that's just easily, instituted. Look at the word I just used, institution. I did both. I did public all the way through like what we call sixth grade here, and then I did two different forms of private after that. And while you're right, I didn't notice any difference in. They're still teaching the same way, right? They're still teaching the same facts. Maybe over here to this teacher, like when I went to a large private school, this teacher, it was paid a little more. So they had more toys in their room to play with, right? So maybe Shakespeare was more interesting because they had some costumes and stuff, but it was all still the exact same. You got to memorize, you got to take the same tests. What I would say kind of saved me was when I got to a small private school, I noticed what y'all just said amongst the teachers, right?
Mm.
because amongst the small, I mean, I had like 30 in my class, right? And I mean by like the whole grade, right? And those 30, you went through ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th with, right? With one or two. So what that did to the teachers that operated within this sort of low class 1A, like they call it, private school, was they were people that were, for whatever reason, really interested or actually still did something in their field, right? Like, I had a Spanish teacher whose husband used to be in the Air Force and fought narco terrorists down in South America, right? It's what he did in the Air Force. And he retired here because there's an Air Force base. And, he married a Colombian down there. And she comes back and she's a Spanish teacher. So what's she all about? Spanish culture. We're
Sure.
always over at her house eating, right? I had an English teacher. This is why I did great in English. I had an English teacher that was a poet laureate, old Coach Kerbo. He lost his foot in Vietnam, right? And he was big, hefty, and boy, Kerbo used to bark. And I remember when he showed up when I was in 10th grade. He used to cuss like a dog, on the football field, just, get him, fuck, get him, right? But he brought something to you because he was always telling you stories about Vietnam, right? And he'd plug you out and go, hey, man, listen, did you know I wrote poetry? And he'd hand that to you. So when you have teachers who in some way are engaged with and actually doing the thing that they're supposed to impart to the youth, then you can see salvation, and you can see what we should have a system created to make that happen. But unfortunately, we have a system created to make the opposite happen. That was my experience in schooling anyway.
Mm-hmm. I agree. What's this you put up, Sarah?
Just want to say
that's the
I agree with Tammy. Sorry, and with Eros. In fact, I agree with what is being saying now. I just wanted to acknowledge that because people were writing down. So. Go ahead, Sarah. Sorry.
this is the visual I was talking about, the little cartoon with now you all have to take this same test.
Mm-hmm.
This is exactly what we're doing.
That's it.
That's it right there.
It's completely retarded. It's so counterintuitive to humanity that you begin to realize it must be nefarious. I mean, your brain can't compute how counterintuitive this is and why we would do it.
It kind of reminds me of like when they say that saying of like pushing a square peg into a round hole. Like you're just pumping everybody out the other side in the same shape. We're all the same sausage,
Yeah.
So I'm guessing the penguin was the best climbing the tree?
Penguin.
I know that monkey down there killed it. Look at him.
For sure. He's psyched. The elephant's like, no, please.
Fish just sitting there like, give me my F, man.
Just give it to me. I don't want to participate.
I was the fish in math. I'll be over at the lake, dude. Just I know what's coming. It's an F.
That's why the first, I don't know if there is 10 minutes or something like that. The first part of Idiocracy is exactly what it is.
Yep.
That's the result.
Yeah.
See, I had a technology teacher try to fail me one time, and I stopped doing my work. I mean, mind you, I was at home building computers, and this is a technology class.
Mm-hmm.
For no reason should I fail this class. But I remember the last project I did in that class, and she called on me to present my project, and she's like, Sarah, and I was like, didn't do it. Why not? You're going to fail anyway, so I saved myself the trouble. And that was the end of that. Like, that's crazy that, for someone who's proficient in technology to be failing what they're actually good at. That's a clear indication something is very wrong.
Well, instances like that remind me of your present situation. Instead of meeting the individual learner, right, which was the whole point of what you presented, instead of meeting the individual learner, it's like their hubris over them being the professional gets in the way of them actually reaching the child.
Every time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is sad. Like everyone thinks I'm a great teacher, so there's obviously nothing for me to adjust. That's my math teacher to a T. Like I'll never forget that guy. I can't believe, like I was a good student. I never failed anything. And I failed grade 10 math twice. still
If
rots
we
my
could
ass.
figure out what that hubris is, what is that hubris? You know, I don't know, and I don't think we'll sort it out here. But we see it everywhere, whether it's in
Hmm. Sure, we do.
academia,
You
wherever
nailed
we
it.
see these narratives in place. We also see these people who were then coached. No fault of their own. Absolutely, they were coached and molded and taught by this narrative, right? And so then now their perspective is from there. But what is that? If we're going to change it, somebody's got to sort out where the hell it comes from.
Well, I think it really it's. I mean, not to poo-poo on every teacher. There's some like really fantastic teachers out there,
Absolutely.
for sure.
Absolutely.
I've had a few of them, like people
Miss
that
Campbell, if you're watching from
Yeah.
kindergarten, I
See?
still remember you.
yeah. Yeah,
Miss
my
Weber,
grade
what up?
my grade 8 English teacher, Mrs. Payne, thank you. Um yeah, there's some people that just know how to reach a soul, you know what I
Sure.
mean? Maybe not every soul. And it's a bit crazy to think that every teacher student interaction is going to be fruitful in this way, because sometimes you just don't get along with people. But there's good
Don't I
teachers
know
out
that?
there, but there's a lot of crappy ones too. And it's more to do with the system.
Yep.
You know.
It is. It is. It's none of this is to do with the human, really.
Well, it is in a sense, because those teachers come into it and they think it's just a cakewalk. They can just breeze through it because the expectations are so low.
Well, sure. In the non-earnest ones, yes. I
Yeah.
guess I was referring to the earnest ones. I mean, what we really are up against is a system, right? I
Yeah.
mean, that's it.
Well,
And
they had a system, so they would tell your parents, well, your child is having some difficulties in this discipline, and so how can we solve that? Well, maybe some classes out of school would help. Oh, really? Okay. So how do we do that? Oh, it's only 75 an hour.
Yeah.
So the teachers on that Catholic school were having a side business just by saying that, oh, your children is having some difficulties, right? And so it was an expensive school, so they weren't expecting, even with 75 contours, which it's like $150 an hour
Wow.
back then. And some parents, including mine, stupidly accepted. And the thing he gave you on those hours, extra hours, was exactly the same thing she was giving you in class. So there was no difference. The difference is, instead of 36, we are 3 or 4, right? But she got his lunch. The lunch was paid and got a lot of money. So I think she bought the car and the house and all of that
Oh,
without
for
taking
sure.
money from their salaries, because it was just a business. So
Hmm.
if you've been to a Catholic school, it's fun, because once you evade the pedophiles and and those that are trying to do, which is true,
Father Murphy, what are you doing here? Get out of here. We said you're not allowed.
Oh my.
now
Oh,
they
reach
were
down, touch it,
sneakier than
Jesus.
that. They were sneakier than that. They used the piano lessons, because your hands are on the piano, right? And so they sit
Oh.
next to you. That was my last piano lesson. I never told this to my father because he would have killed someone, so I never told him.
I think I've had my last piano lesson too now.
No more piano, Jason.
No more
that's
piano.
it.
That
No
was
more
my last
80s synth keyboard for you.
Well, I didn't get the deluxe piano.
I had a joke I was saving and I forgot it with that one, Ricardo. I feel it.
But there was one or two good teachers, right? But
Yeah.
among 12 or 13 to have two good
Yep.
teachers, something is not right, right?
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
Imagine the change in behavior, though, if children were fed their own learning style. I mean, I feel like all the behavior issues that you see would go away, because what we're doing is we're using fear as a motivator. Fear
Mhm.
of, oh, my parents are going to be mad if I fail, or if I fail, I'll have to redo this whole year. Or fear
Like-
should never be a motivator for education. That is
have-
wrong, just
I
on
have to
so many
be-
levels.
At the mention of parents, I have to be a little bit of the devil's advocate here. Can't help it. Because if your child is having difficulty in school, there's some level of responsibility to the parents, right? I'm not saying every parent needs to know how to be a teacher, because parents, God knows, parents are busy doing all kinds of things, providing and working and whatnot. But nobody knows your child like you do. And so there is some responsibility of the parents to be a part of the kid's education. And I think that is also severely lacking in many cases. A lot of parents look at school as an opportunity to send their kids to childcare instead
Well,
of it
yeah, but
being.
Jacqueline, if you are working 2 shifts a day,
I understand that.
you don't know your child. Look, the child is more time in school
Sure.
than it is with its parents, because
Yeah.
most families now don't have dinner together, right? So they are
Mhm.
lost even that half an hour where they could try and connect one another. It doesn't exist because everybody eats in their own room, right? So
Sure.
there is no contact between the children and the parents. The parents have no idea. They must think, oh, it's an adorable child, and the child is a terror, right?
Yeah, that's true.
This, unless you're a
I
fan.
mean, I
Yeah,
mean, you could. I understand what you're saying, but since it is your child, there is a level of responsibility
there
there, in
is.
my opinion.
There
Like, you
is.
cannot
There
brush it
is.
off by saying, "Oh, you know what? The system is set up inappropriately for me to be a good parent." Okay, like
Oh, be one
Both,
then.
both can be true, right? I
it
mean,
both can be
the
true, but ultimately,
system
you've had a child,
the system
And
and
is
what
set
I'm
up
so.
saying, what I'm
the
trying to
system
say
is set up
is,
to divide the family unit, and
Hmm.
people don't take responsibilities when they should. Both can be
Yeah,
true.
I think that most people try to do their best for their children,
I
even if they
agree.
have 2 shifts, right?
Sure,
And then,
whatever that means to them.
yeah, and then kids these days are ruled by TikTok and rap and the culture of the strongest survives in the streets and so on and so forth, right? And everybody wants to belong to a group where there's a badass or trying to be the badass more still, right?
They
And
want that. They want the kids distracted, Ricardo. I mean,
and so
Hmm.
otherwise,
and
go ahead.
so who are this no, the child doesn't know his parents and the parents don't know the child. It's a fake relationship that they live
Right,
at the house that doesn't reflect how the child actually is outside of the family environment.
Right.
right,
So, and it's not the parents' fault because they're doing their best. It doesn't mean that their best is any good, but at least
right.
they're doing their best on what they can, right? Because if you have to work 2 shifts, you are so tired that you still make food for your family and so on and so forth, take care of the clothes and this and that. You don't have the time to, let's go and for a walk, my son, okay, or my daughter, let's go for a
Correct.
walk. Let's see what you do when I'm not here. They can't do it, right?
Correct. It's correct, man. I look. I was coming from the Kusa, you guys, just a little bit ago, and I was out on the rocks, and I took Jacob to take him swimming, and I see a young lady and a daughter, and as I'm coming back, and they'd climbed out to the rocks too, and I go back by them, and I'm like, hey y'all, how's it doing? And she said, oh, we had to play hooky today. And I was like, you did? And it's like, well, yeah, it's not like they ever get any time to do this, and just to be out there, right, in nature with the parents, right? And I was backing her up. I was like 100%. That was absolutely my experience. Was you have to like take your time from the system, and the system fights back. It really does.
Oh yeah,
Well, this
and they
is
have numbers.
Yeah,
this is all
exactly.
this is highly controversial, but this is all the emancipation of women, right?
What does that have
Mm,
to do with it?
I
let's
agree.
let's take
Uh,
women out of the houses, let's put them to work, right?
I
They can pay
agree.
Put them to
taxes.
work, let's put them to work, let's
We'll
make
raise
them
their
like man,
kids.
let's make them like man, right?
It's controversial as a woman to hold that opinion, but I agree.
Well, yeah, but as a father, right here of girls, I must say, I mean, it takes both, right? I mean,
It
it
does.
really does. And when the system is set up to keep both, out going, I'm doing what I'm supposed to, which is ignoring my kids and letting the school system raise them, but I'm doing what I'm supposed to, right? It's not that
Yep.
parent's fault, no, he's out there doing what this system has coached him to do. You know what I mean?
It's a flaw in the
Um,
system.
but right, what we have to do is take back, our own agency over our own lives and our own children. first and foremost. And public schooling for me was, look, I wasn't going to fit in any system. You talk about phone calls home from school. I mean, I can't talk. My poor parents, fifth grade, get a phone call. This is the principal. Yeah, Mrs. Huffman. I've got Jason in here again. Yeah, says he's not. He's protesting. He's got another student with him. Won't go to Miss Williams' class because she's what? Says she's racist, and he's not. I
I'm
was not
shocked.
gonna.
So
I
you
was
were
not-
gay and racist?
She was mean, and she said words she wasn't supposed to as a teacher to me, and it's like legit, man. And, I mean, I won't go into it. She may still be around, but I had legit grievances. But my point was, the system was not meant to contain me, right? I was the type that I don't like what I'm getting here, so I'm going to find anything. So let's social justice. By the way, I didn't want to go to class anyway. Did you?
Well,
No, all
you
right, come
do
on, we'll
look like
strike.
you do look
Yeah.
like a Nazi Jew, so it's a bit
Like a
confusing.
what?
A Nazi Jew, so it's a bit confusing. So
No, this was a
Um,
this. Do I look like
get
a?
out. Get
I've got
out.
I've got German blood. I do. Family Hofmann, but then
Hoofman.
Godwin.
see,
Huffman,
see,
Hoofman. But then Godwin that's more there's actually there was a Godwin on the throne of England. So look out, everybody. No, but I think he was Danish. Um,
just to
but
clarify,
my point is the system. Then I'll let you keep clarifying. My experience was the system was look, I saw it wasn't going set up for my best interest early on, right?
Same.
Every note home was roughly. Jason's really smart. He could be a good student if he wanted to, right? Because I saw right.
It's very bright.
Right? It's like homework. Are you kidding me? Let me figure out. What if I don't do this? Okay, your test. Okay, I'll pay attention to your lecture. Okay, I'll take your test. Okay, now I'm gonna go home and I'm not gonna do the homework. What happens? C. But I pass. Okay, cool. And I learned right away that was how I could just roll through this. Give them the bare minimum they needed.
Bare
from me,
minimum.
right? To get me on through what I needed.
Do you know what? My approach was complete opposite. I was the type of kid that I did all of the things, jumped all of the hoops, read all of the stuff, answered all the questions, always had my homework done. I was a really good student, like a goody goody. But I did that, my methodology, I did that so that they wouldn't look at me. So when the teacher had a moment, she wasn't double checking with me because she could always check me off of her list. Of course, Jacqueline has her work done. Of course, so then they leave you alone, which was my ultimate goal. That way I could read what I wanted. I could, you know what I mean? If I had extra time in the classroom, I could be on the computer doing the things I was interested in, playing the games I wanted to play, reading the things I wanted to read. When the internet came into school, I was able to look up stuff I wanted to look up. And it was like, okay, you want something from me? Okay, here you go. Now leave me alone. So that was what I did because I recognized, like, the teacher teaches to the lowest level in the room, which she kind of has to, right? So all of the teacher's attention goes to the person with the most behavioral issues in most cases. And so I just made sure that I just was never on that list of people who got attention. I just kept my mouth shut, kept quiet, like come and go. That's it. Like nothing extra, just what I was supposed to do. Like be a fly on the wall, just disappear into the crowd of kids, right? Not too good, not too bad. Like,
I guess I learned I had to play the other route, Jacqueline, early on. I knew I was going to end up in scenarios, and I was good with adults. That probably had to do with like my upbringing. I was around a lot of adults, so I just
too.
sort of gravitated. So I learned early on I could just make friends with a couple of them, and that was going to help me out a lot, right? And I just found my ways, through school to have a friendly relationship, one where I could joke with them, and like that. And that's how I survived, because I would often get myself in situations where, I needed that principal to be one I could joke with. Because when I was on strike or doing something stupid, first I got a smile before I got, the finger pointed at me. So yeah, that's why I befriended them. And that's how I got through, because then at least I was able to find some people that would go, oh, you're a little different. Here, listen, maybe you'd like this, and you'd get handed that little something extra, which to a kid who was looking for that's what I was after, right? And it's a shame, like you said, that we just couldn't have a system that could recognize that.
Right. The whole point is that you shouldn't have had to go through all these like extra calisthenics like to get what it was that you needed from the adults that were meant to be guiding you, right? Like you had to
Right.
kind of like beat them at their own game.
Yeah, to get handed the cool book. Like,
Yeah.
why did you have to, like with Coach Kerbo, man, I had to go through so much of like getting to know him. And then one day he's like, while everybody's reading another book, he hands me Ayn Rand, and he's like,
Mm.
you do that instead. And I'm like, man, how many times did I have to go to your car and get your cigars and your titty magazines? Which, by the way, were for me. He was a pretty cool dude. He'd say, "Huff, come get the mail."
Oh my
In the middle,
God.
as soon as I'd get in his class, he's passed now. He's a Vietnam vet with the foot blown off now, and
Bless them.
he'd say, "Huff, come get the mail." I go up there and he'd hand me the key to his car and go out there, and I knew that under the driver's seat was a booby magazine and a couple of H. Upman cigars for the weekend. You know, but that's because I read Ayn Rand in the Fountainhead, and I had discussions with him about it, and I wrote
Sure.
papers about it. But you did have to sort of do that. You had to seek it out, right? And then you had to really sort of work just to get handed that extra thing that wasn't in the curriculum.
Yep.
It's not so much that teacher did for me. It's that through all of the hoops, he then gave me some access to like, why didn't you hand this to everybody? Why do you assume that not everybody could read the Fountainhead, and go,
Mhm.
yeah, it's thick, but so what? It teaches you about like being a man and like not going with the system, and then you go, oh, that's why it's not in the curriculum. Okay.
Yeah, sure. You read it and you're like, oh, okay. Like I always found most of the material that was intended for the class to be very lame. Like I was more interested in reading things that were intended for a much older audience, like more
Scarlet Letter.
for whatever reason, right? Yeah. Too funny.
What I was trying to say is, in relation to the message from Eros, is I'm not trying to be sexist, and from my understanding, to have a child normally involves two people of opposite sexes. That doesn't mean that today you can't do it differently, but you are still a couple, right?
Mm.
So it's a two-side decision. So nobody is getting auctioned by getting a partner, and unless you are not in that relationship willingly.
Yeah, but I think that
Right?
her perspective more comes from a position like as a female and knowing and kind of knowing her
In
because
my
we saw.
case, I stayed at home to raise my kids.
Yes, but that's unusual.
I worked at night from midnight to 6 a.m. in order to stay with my kids during the day until
I know,
the
but that is
system
not
forced
the
me to
case
put them
for.
into school, because I was not going to put my child being raised by who knows who that I don't have any idea who it is. And we all know that until 7 years old, whatever the child gets is what is going to be most of the time. It's up to 7 years old, and that's when we are throwing our children to strangers.
Yes,
That's
but
what
that
people
is
do. From
unusual.
3 months old, it's already on the care of strangers.
You are
Because
not
I
a
have to go to
usual
work.
person, Ricardo, is what I'm trying to say. Okay? For the
You're a
most
freak.
part, yeah, for the most part, if a woman and a man get married or have a relationship where they decide or have a child sprung upon them and then they are now looking after a new life, the man will continue to work and it's the woman that stays at home. Do you understand? So, what Eros actually wrote, I have no issue with that idea. I'm an engineer and I don't feel as competitive as my male peers. I prioritize other things, but if your survival relies on a man and you get auctioned off to a bad one, dot, 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 the point that she's trying to make is that it's a very vicarious situation for a woman, from a woman's perspective, to find yourself in a situation where you don't have a career because you're making biscuits and babies, as Sarah likes to say, and you're
Babies and biscuits.
yeah, and you're stuck at home trying to raise a child essentially alone because the man is gone off. From a female perspective, which I appreciate your input, but that's something that you can't give. That is a very vicarious situation.
It's just the auction to a man, right?
It's lingo to say that now you have a child with someone, you are strapped in some way to this individual, whether you like it or not. If I have a child with a man, I am stuck with that man in my life somehow, some way, to some degree, right?
Well, also, guys, when you've got a system that's gonna demand in a lot of ways, right? Like try to be a single parent. Okay, that's really tough. Not enough jobs pay for daycare. Not enough. So the system
Mm-hmm.
inherently kind of it needs two earners, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
not only sort of taking the woman out, but it's doing something much more nefarious. I think, you know. And that's my 2 cents, right? Because it auctioned off is kind of a word, right? Because you don't have many options. You're a single mother. What are you going to try to find? Most likely, right?
So she
Well, another
clarifies.
another earner, right?
Yeah.
And vice versa.
Well, what I mean is, it doesn't need to be the man or the woman to stay at home. It's something that they have to decide who is going to take care of the child.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly.
Right? When I
Mm.
say the emancipation of women, is because the system was already rigged for men to work. That's how the system was rigged. The man is the one that goes out and brings sustainability to the family. Why? Because at that time, the pay for one person working was more than adequate for sustaining the family,
Yeah,
right? And having a car and going on holidays and so on and so
Mm.
forth,
yeah,
right? Now that is no longer possible because they didn't want that one person was able to sustain the whole family. They want both people sustaining a family. So they start this new program. Let's put the woman to work, right? And I'm saying the woman because it was the woman at that time that were at house, right?
Mm-hmm.
So and that was what placed children from 3 months old in the care of strangers, right?
It was win-win for them because now the women can pay taxes and the government gets to raise your kids.
Exactly, and they can control how the kid is going to be, right?
Exactly. And they can put them in that environment that shuts down that spark that we were talking about, where
yeah.
maybe
Exactly.
this doesn't work for you. It ensures that they have no place earning any good money anywhere in the future. It ensures that they're going to be your fast food workers or your
Yep.
retail workers now, and
and
It's
and
maybe
and
they'll
still
be
your
to
power.
prison. They
and
steal your
advice
power.
and advice is always a dangerous thing, but advice for parents: if your child wants to continue to scribble outside of the page and into the door and into the walls, let it do whatever he wants artistically. Wants to bring flowers into the house and start gluing them to the wall or something, let him do it because it's part of their learning process. When I when I delivered the rent house that I had at that time, I had to completely paint the house because everything to the ceiling was written. They would climb on things and get things because to continue to write and paint and colorize. They took it a little bit too far because they went yes they did because they went to people's houses and they paint the televisions, so which was a problem because
That's what I worry
the
about.
television was giving cartoons, so why couldn't I write in there and complete the cartoons? So but do not limit in any way your child's ability to express himself. Basically that's what I'm trying to say, right? Even if you have to go somewhere and say, oh, do you have scrap paper, cartoons, cartons. I don't know how you
Like a coloring book.
no. I mean, even the cards of the packages that they smash, right?
Carton.
You can get that
Carton.
for free.
Yeah,
Put
Mm-hmm.
it that in so they can create starships. They can create
yeah.
anything, right?
Boxes. Yeah.
So allow your children to express themselves as they want, as the best as you can, because I know some materials are expensive, right? And they will continue to do it. My daughters still go regularly to buy new pencils, new packages of inks. They paint on actual because I started buying them canvas after a certain age. And do they paint well? Probably not, but they're expressing themselves, and that's the important part. It's their own work. So uh, that's it.
That's it.
I find that as a parent, it's when your kids are teaching you that's when you're on the right wavelength. I
Mm.
heard that.
Preach.
I heard that said early on, and the young lady, she looked not much older than Isabella, bless her, but she had a kid, and she said she said the same philosophy that I when I was found myself being left the girl's mother. How are you going to parent, right? And she was like, well, I looked and I looked down at that and I was like, well, what would I have like needed? Like really, like what parent
Yep.
would have been good for me, right? And I'm going to operate through that empathetic lens, and that's huge. And when you do that, coupled with, if they're teaching me, I'm doing it right. Well, what does that mean? That means you're always going to be remaining humble in every scenario, right? And there's going to be so many times with these kids because, as you say, they are so different from us, and that's what a lot of the institutions don't like to deal with. But there are going to be times where you're not going to let them know it, but they're going to say some shit, and you're going to go, oh, really? Yeah, oh, I see. It is like that, and don't get that look off my face. Can't let her know she just taught me, but it
Yep.
keeps you in a proper relationship with that child as a developing and growing entity, and it does, like what Ricardo says, it keeps you in tune with this expression of itself that is forming before you, right? And if you allow that to teach you, then you're allowing it obviously to form. Yeah. That's my parenting, I guess, 101.
Hmm.
That's great advice. I couldn't
Mhm.
agree more. And I've always heard that, people would say, "Oh, I learned so much from my kids," and I'm just like, "Yeah, right." But you don't understand it until you truly start out with a brand new person fresh off the lot,
Yep.
and you
Yep.
you watch the development happen. I mean, I've learned so much about, just not just development of children, but just the mind itself. And I find just the mind is fascinating to me. Just
It
the way
is.
that they all work differently is fascinating to me. And I like to study it and pick it apart and ponder it and
Yeah.
until my head hurts. And
I, parenting
that's
makes
where I
me
found I was
OCD.
learning. Yeah, that's where
It
and
makes you OCD.
you overanalyze what you're doing and what are the consequences, what are the
Right.
pros, what are the cons of this, what did I need when I was in this situation,
Hmm.
and
Yep.
that's how you come into this
With every
this
action.
cycle breaker
Yep.
role
Preach.
that I know that Jason's in and I'm in. My
Yep.
parents didn't have a fucking clue what to do with me, so like being able to give my child what I didn't have is the whole point. That is the whole point. And I would even say that's the meaning of life, is just to do better than what you had. And that's how we grow as a species. That's how we advance. That's how we lean into these differences, because we all have parts to play in this matrix, or whatever you want to call this place that we're all in. It takes all different kinds. If we're all doing the same thing, it's never going to work. If you try to make a car and it's just a bunch of tires, it's never going to go anywhere. Like, you need
Right.
an engine, you need brakes, you need things to make it operate. It's not, if they're all the same parts, it's not going to do anything. And that's the problem that we're faced with right now here.
Well, my rule was not to do to my children. These are not things that are wrong, because
Right.
telling your
Right.
kids what time you have to go to bed is not wrong. I never liked it, but I wouldn't say it's wrong. But it's one of the things that I had to battle my family, because my children never had time to go to bed. They always manage that, and if the next day they learn the lesson. They know they
Yeah.
are going to sleep earlier, right? It's like people that put protectors on all the the drawers openers, and cover all the power outlets. What for?
Because
Oh,
some of these
it's
things
gonna
you
put
don't
his
get a
finger
do
in there.
over.
Is it? Is
That's
it?
true,
Give me
Sarah.
your finger, daughter. Look, this is what happens. Exactly. Don't do it. You see that power outlet? If you go there and mess with it, it's going to shock you. But I'll show you first. And say, no, Daddy, no, no, let me show you. No, Daddy, never touched it. Right? And they started. I found my daughters messing with a saw, and trying to do
Oh my
woodwork with
god.
wood carvers at, I don't know, 6 years old. Like, oh, dear Lord, some fingers are going to come out. But no, let them learn.
We were the exact opposite. 8th grade would always be some dude. Hey man, what? I got a taser. Come here. You want? Oh, you got one? Okay, do me first. Bzz.
Okay.
It's fun.
It's fun.
Well, I don't need it. I keep being tased all the time, so I don't really need it.
I did that. I got myself the other day when I sawed through my saw cord. I was making a fence outside. I
Oh,
sawed through
no.
my saw cord, and the cord got tangled in the saw. And so I tried to undo it, and the cord was touching the saw blade itself. And I was,
Okay.
whoops.
220, hello.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, tingly.
When I had
If you hold on to it, it gets harder to let go.
when I had the two horses in the property, we had a electric strip so that the horses doesn't come out of it, right? So anytime I had someone new going there and they wanted to see the horses, of course, I would say, oh my God, this is loose again. Do you mind stretching on that side? And people going, Jesus Christ.
We used to play with the electric fence too. It's funny when you touch it, you feel the tingling sensation in your toe. Why?
Because it's exiting you.
Yeah.
Science. Science, though. I was learning. I learned.
That's it, hands on. I mean, I always said, you talked about the forms of learning. I was always, show me once, let me do it twice, is kind of the way I simplify it, you know?
Sure.
Amen.
It was right, you know, if I've got
Love
any
that.
questions, they will arise during my first attempt, you know, just, I'll get annoyed if you show me 2 or 3 times, you know? So it's a bit of both. It's a bit of visual and it's a bit of tactile, you know, let me do it. Let me mess up and bang my finger and go, oh, fuck, you know, and learn it. And, you know, second time around, we're okay. Let's run with it. Yeah. So I think all of them.
And kids is a lottery. We can do the best we can, and they just
Fair enough.
want to be something else.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a lottery. The only thing we can do is give our best, but they are not ours really. They are of the world, right? Because I still have father and mother, but I try to give my own life, right? So and that will happen. So my daughters went to China at 18 years old, right? Never got out of my sight, never got to a night out, never.
That's why she went to China.
FYI.
No, it isn't. But my daughters never did that. They never got out. They never had until 18. They never did that until the university. They never did anything like that. If they want to go to a friend's house or a birthday party, I would take them and wait for them to come out. So never a disco. No, but that's not because I was forbidding it. It's because I gave them access to see how all of those things are, and probably gave them very little interest because I don't have any interest in them myself. But but then they came out. For instance, I had a call from my youngest twin. She's going to have a ball today, right? And I said, "Are you going? What are you doing? Did you face fell down in a bucket of ink, or what's wrong with you?" She was trying to show me the dress,
Dad.
and trying to show me the dress and all of that. And I said, "What are you doing? It's time to go to bed." No, I'm going out. Okay, no drinking. No, Daddy, there will be drinking.
No, I just wait till everybody goes to sleep and then go out the window and take my mom's car.
There you go. No one's paying attention to me because I'm a good girl, you know?
And then hit the garage when I'm backing out.
Oh, girlfriend.
Oh, there you go. I've done that. We actually we roped out of the friend's house, and we'd push his car down the street so that nobody could hear the car getting started in the driveway.
That's very smart.
Yeah,
Put it in neutral.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Until you
really
find out you
smart.
have no brakes until you start the car. But,
Well, you do. It's just really hard to do. Like,
Yeah,
I'd
you
still
gotta
be out
pump it
there.
real hard.
I'd still be pushing while he's cranking. Gotta get it going, man. Boom, there we go. Hop in, and then we'd go shoot fireworks around the neighborhood. We were fools. It's absolute fools. But some of that is part of growing up. When you're growing up inside a machine, you want to shoot fireworks out of a window. It's right.
That's the thing. You tell kids that they can't do something. Guess what they do?
I'm going to do it yesterday.
That's it.
Like,
That's the truth of
Right?
it.
That's
And
it's
you
just
know,
Tell me
it's
not
just like
to.
this rudimentary psychology of something. If you teach a child why they shouldn't do something, I feel like you probably have better luck. But they're
Yep.
still going to do what they want. They're
yeah.
still going to go do what they want.
My
I mean,
biggest
leading by example is your best bet. But
Well,
parents, remember this. Parents of young kids, please remember this because I'm in it now. They're going to be teenagers, okay? They're going to be 17 and they're going to be 14 and they're going to have their own cars and they're going to be out there rolling free in the world. And you're going to want one thing above all else. You're going to want them to trust you. You're going to want them to trust you.
yeah,
You're going to want them to call you and go, listen, I got this thing I can't tell anybody. Somebody's going through. Can I bring them over? You want that when they reach this age. And that comes from all those little decisions Sarah and I were talking about you obsess over when they're little. You don't do what the world tells you to do a lot of times. Like Ricardo says, you do what's necessary to ensure when they do become those free agents, those own creations of God, as Ricardo says, the world, whichever way you have it, that have nothing to do with you, you're gonna really wish you had built the trust. That's been my experience, and I'm very glad that I did many things that the world looked at me and went, what is that? That's not parenting. And I went, just wait. You'll see, right? And here I sit with, when I was told that if you had daughters, here's what I was told, that when they get 16, the aliens are going to come get them, and if you did your job right, maybe around 24, the aliens would bring them back. So I was prepared for that, right? But because you know what I mean, I was like,
that's a fair assessment in many cases.
Felt
yeah.
like that.
I was prepared for
That was
that.
a
And
nightmare.
there is still very much truth with that, right? But at its heart, what I ended up with by making these decisions that many people, the world and the system would go, I ended up with people that stand beside me,
Mhm.
right? Shoulder to shoulder, that trust me, that can roll through this world with me, right? And
Mhm.
that's what this system has tried to take from us. It's tried to take any sort of unity, any sort of cohesion, any sort of what one generation learns can be successfully passed down to the next and built upon, right? All of that has been bred out, and that's what parents need to get back to understanding. And for me, it all framed itself around just make sure they trust you, and you'll see why. That's what I was hearing inside me, and that's what I did. And man, I couldn't be more grateful for it.
Mm.
Well, all I wanted is to be left alone.
Same.
Well, yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
They keep saying, "Go to the street. Do you have any friends? Go and play with them. There's kids in the street." No. The first
I
time
was-
I got out of my nest, I probably was 14 or 15 years old, and only
I
because
wouldn't
my father
say-
decided to camp. So we
Yeah.
started doing 3 months of camping every year, because otherwise
Hmm.
I couldn't care less about other people. Right? I had my world in there. In my room, there was all of my world. I didn't need anything else.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can remember when I was young, my parents
Hey, baby.
literally were frustrated
now.
with me because they would ground me to my room and I'd be like, sweet, see ya. Okay, bye. I'm shutting the door. Make sure not to bother me. Don't call me for dinner. I'm so bad. I no one should even talk to me. Goodbye. And it just wasn't a punishment for me because it was my greatest joy to be alone and to read or write or, So I used to have to get kicked out of the house on a Sunday. My mother would round me up. Go and get pushed out the front door. Go be a kid, please. Leave this
that's
house. Yeah.
That's it. Gotta have the time outside.
Yeah.
Got to have it.
And then when I was probably from 12, 13, then I was never home. But I was outside just by myself in places outside. Yeah. So
Jacob has found his way in.
Uh-oh.
and Charlotte's home, so he's like,
All
"What's
round
that?"
up.
He's so happy. It's
Yeah,
the
he
best
is.
part
Yeah.
of his day.
Oh, he's
Yeah,
cleaning the dust, right?
yeah, exactly, exactly. You see it? You see it?
Either that or it's raining.
About to knock over some of these artifacts. He
Elephant in a
like
china shop.
he
He's so
is.
big now. He's
He
so
is.
big
He's
now.
huge. Jump up here and show him. See how big you are.
He's like,
I
look
can't
at
pick him
it.
up.
Oh
That's
my
a big old
god.
baby.
Look at him.
Scratch his gobbler for me, will you?
I will.
No,
We've
she's
already been.
talking to the dog.
Yeah. Oh. Is there peanut butter involved? That's all I need to know.
Not again. Not again.
Not again. Not again. Not again. Oh yeah, we were out. I took him out swimming today. We went out to explore the Coosa River at the Corn Creek. Yeah, because I'd forgotten about this, and so I thought I was doing some stuff for the live stream. Um, yeah, which brings me to, I guess, the thing I've been working on is this live stream I'm calling Finding Things Within and Without. And it occurs to me, sort of part of what I'm doing as it unfolds. um I was telling Sarah I had this dream last night where I was on a podcast with like Ricardo, right? And it was so real. Like I thought, for a second it was like it registered as a memory because I've been doing so many podcasts this past weekend. But there was like a map of all the mounds, the Native American mounds or something on the screen. And I was trying to say to Ricardo, trying to express what's been stolen, like this, not just this land's been stolen, but everything, the culture, the way these people lived, what they achieved as human beings, all of this has been stolen from us, right? I don't just mean, whether, I've got a little native blood. I don't just mean like for them. I mean for all of humanity. When you see what these people were doing and how they were living, right? What that offers and the power, you talk about the system and wanting to take power away from us, the power that it gives you to realize, wait a minute, human beings walked around and engaged with the earth like this, right? It's all of this that has been taken from us. And I've come to sort of realize that by going to these places that I found right along this journey and sort of just trying to first show them to everyone, sort of exhibit these places, I'm starting to slowly paint a picture, to build up to beginning to exhibit more of what I've, found eventually about what has really been taken from us by having our the story of our past taken from us. And it begins here with these natives that ever since the West came colliding in with DeSoto and with the explorers, things were erased both intentionally and unintentionally because they also did not understand much of what was here, right? So much has been simply taken from us. And I've realized, that's part of what I'm working on and I'm trying to exhibit, and yeah, so that's what I'm doing with Finding Things Within and Without, guys. I'm really not announcing them yet. I may start planning an hour ahead, but I'm trying to do a couple of 3 episodes a week where I go out and just start filming these places and coming back and just talking with folks and starting to try to exhibit the place itself, and through that the spirit of the natives and all you see, always around me that I've found can begin to sort of evidence itself somehow, unfortunately, because it's not like we can be in person with everybody. So that's what I'm trying to sort out is returning that part of the story, and also through even conversations like this, understanding why it is that the narrative is so strong. you know why, what it is we're fighting, why it is people are so hesitant, to look at Native American populations being more than what we've been told, or to go further back and look for a lost civilization, right? But for me, starting with the native is like the easiest for people to sort of grasp onto, right? Because just so much there has been taken from our human story. And when we know our human story and we see how people have done it, then we can see how we can do it. And then we can know our power. And that's what these education systems and these systems we live under don't want. And Jacob's about to knock over the screen. And that's what I have to say about what I've been working on.
Calm down, Jacob.
I
Yeah.
love the new live stream. Like like when I saw it come through my feed, I was like, that's perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Like I got a notification for it and I was like, of course he's doing that.
Of
Like
course he is. Yeah. Yeah.
why hadn't he
Why
think
hadn't
of
we
this
thought of
before?
it?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was just saying, that's why I did it just for the moment because it came to me, and I'm like, that does make sense. That just makes sense. I
Hmm.
just need to do that, and take it slow and start getting everybody in with, what hooked me. I mean, look, I had to walk myself through all this knowledge, so I can't like be all frustrated with people for not getting it or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But what the hook for me was these places, the magic, the beauty, the thing, just the place. And so it seemed intuitive and appropriate to start with what was the hook for me and just start showing these places, and along the way telling a little tale about, the spiritual encounters or what, things that happened that sort of first had me then show up in a place and start looking around and go, oh, wait a minute, there's a lot of other stuff here too, right? There was probably, oh, look, there was another civilization that found this place special too, and keep going. But yeah, that's it. I'm glad you guys. Thank you very much for saying nice words about it. But yeah, it's just me trying to figure out a way to slowly walk this knowledge out there, I guess.
I think this
Mhm.
is how education goes in the future anyways. Like I think we're going to start doing more of a like a P2P thing.
Yeah.
And I think that that would benefit a lot of people. I'm not saying we should take down, institutional learning entirely. For some people, that works. That is their
Hmm.
way that they do things, and um, it takes, like I said, it takes all types to make things work.
It
So
does. It does. And that's another, I guess. John Ward's in the chat. His buddy Brian Corey Dobbs, he put a comment one time on one of my videos not long ago that really it also sums up this other thing we forget. He's like, man, just watching this. First of all, I don't necessarily have a lot of this around me, right? Stuff I can have access to, but watching it makes me realize I need to get outside and see what's around me.
Yeah.
And all of these things, which, as you say, if this were an education format, it's why it makes sense because you can do all of that. You can showcase things that other people couldn't see, but at the same time, you could be going, okay, now you go out and do that where you are and come back and show me. You know,
Well, I
it's a
think
lot of
it's
things.
excellent. First of all, it makes you go out, which is something you don't do, and second, it involves your speech impediment. So
Yeah.
damn,
It breaks you out of your shell, Jason. Yeah.
damn,
What I miss, my speech impediment.
y'all got jokes today.
But well, it's all these thoughts. They're up here, and I'm trying to like
Yeah.
grab them and like
And
bring them
convey
down and
them.
let them go out. And that's the other
Yeah.
thing I'm learning about live stream. Right, is I'm learning how to sort of just turn off and let thoughts properly come out.
Hmm.
And that, as you guys were talking about Riverside, that's great because then I can hop back in and like go, oh, there's just that 2 minute clip where that thought clink came out clearly and concisely. It's been very very useful so far.
Yeah.
Because yes, Ricardo, I do struggle oftentimes to take this massive multi-dimensional mass that is up here and kind of go, okay, let me go grab that.
Bro,
yeah,
if you are struggling, like, what are the rest of us doing?
yeah,
Failing miserably.
yeah, because he had the nerve to say it on our last show that he's doing the shows to help him with his speech
Oh,
because
okay.
he's a person who
Okay,
who doesn't
okay.
have speech, you know.
Well, I don't
and I
talk a
and I
lot.
was thinking, what?
No, I was telling him, Jacqueline, remember when we got off on Sunday, you and I were talking,
Mhm,
I was just like
mhm.
talking about how great you did live. And then we both sort of commiserated that, in everyday life during the day, if, it's just, there's not a lot of people around me that I talk to, but I don't,
Yeah,
I'm
like
more,
in
it's all in
general
here.
day-to-day life, I am in like
Yeah.
heavy contemplative state. I'm very,
Yeah.
very like I listen and process. I'm not necessarily a big talker.
Right.
What if you get to know me? What happens is I give kind of one word answers, and then everything I have been thinking about and formulating comes out in a large lump, and then I'm done, and I need to like go eat something or take a nap.
Exactly.
Like I'm not good at continuously speaking. I'm a much better listener because I don't
Right.
speak unless I've compiled my thoughts, right? So
Right.
Yeah, but
Which
it's
is
just
I
that
get it, Jason.
no,
until
I mean I
Jason
know
said
Ricardo, I
that.
get the joke, and it's true because what everybody sees is you know sort
Right,
of
right. So
a
they
stream of
assume that that's what
consciousness.
you're like all the
But
time.
right, but what,
Yeah.
it's also why it is fun, and there is a bit of a challenge for me because it
Mhm.
is. I am trying to learn how to just be much better at that, right, and to just let it flow as though it were in here, and this whole mouth organ weren't involved,
His mouth organ.
and that's what streaming, this live stream practice has also just done for me on sort of a technical level, is get even
Mhm.
better at just learning to because one word answer, trust me, that hits home, a lot. Unless it's my kids, there's a lot of okay, yep, you know, that's sort of Jason during the day.
Mm.
I
And
saw that
this,
Sherry Mullins is in the chat. I just want to say we've got the printer. The computer didn't came, but the printer is already here.
let me say hey to Charlotte.
So
You're halfway there.
yeah, we're halfway there. No, 1/3 because it's also a scanner, a vertical
Ah,
scanner.
yes.
But the
Yes.
printer has already arrived.
Okay, Ricardo, let's get a little synopsis on what you're up to. Tell us what you're doing. Give us the update.
Well, because I thought that Amazon was going to make the delivery to the office of AES, Ancient Earthwork Society, I
Mhm.
dragged poor Jim with me in the morning because I thought we have to stay all day in here. But after
Hi,
all,
Jim.
and yeah, Jim is on the first room.
Okay.
And but after all, the person that took care of this, Jay, he took really good care of this because he didn't send things to the office. He sent to the central part of the building downstairs, whatever
Okay.
it's called. So, and they came here and delivered the printer. So it's not Amazon. Amazon delivers, but not in here. So we didn't
Like
need it.
kind of like to the front desk or
Yeah, we didn't
yeah,
need
yeah,
it to
yeah.
be here all day. So I brought the computer, the camera, I brought everything here to do and I didn't need to. Um,
It's
but
okay.
well, as you can see, this is the table where we're laying out the maps done by Jim and separating what is compilations and what is final maps and selecting the final maps to go to American Geographic Society.
Very exciting.
yeah,
And so that they can then scan them and they will keep the originals and they'll put them online. So it at least is part of the job. We know that will be well done because they are very professional what they do,
mm,
and they have special conditions to preserve the maps. Although some of them are the size of this table, and
Hmm.
it's a very big table. But some of them
wow.
are this big, and
I'm jealous of the maps, man. I love maps. I'm jealous of just I like the tactile. I
Thanks
like
for hanging
everything
out,
about
Angel.
maps. Thanks, Heroes.
Can't be saying people's government name on here. Gosh.
She said it the other day. I was watching one of her videos and she actually said it. So
she said what?
She also nothing.
nothing.
What? Huh?
What?
Mind
Rue,
your business.
what's going on, Rue?
I don't know. I was lost in translation right now.
Rue does not like his real name. I learned that too.
Stream is
doesn't?
breaking. Is
No, he
breaking.
prefers
Rue's
Rue. He prefers
real
Rue.
name is Rue, isn't
Well,
it?
Yeah. That's on his
It
birth
is.
certificate.
It
It's
is.
Rue with a heart. Rue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a sandal. Get you.
And we
I'm
have
gonna get you.
we also have whatever Bard, which has done a podcast with us
Mhm.
also.
Yep.
What's going on, Norwin? Hey, does the chat know what does it mean when Amazon is going to bring you a package by a robot? I got my first robot delivery coming in a few hours.
I'm so jealous. You have no idea.
Are we betting? Is it going to be like wheels or drone?
Like I want to find out where this happens regularly, and I would like to move there.
Well, I get Amazon packages here all the time at this house, and this is the first time it's ever happened. So I'm intrigued.
I live in a very strategically placed area in terms of Amazon logistics because
Sarah's intrigued now too, aren't you?
I have such close access to so many Amazon warehouses that because I live in the GTA, which is Greater Toronto area, what is considered like the outskirts of the GTA.
Right.
And
Oh, it's not Rock Art Games then.
no.
Hmm.
And Yeah. So if you live close to some of their warehouses or a warehouse, you can get some items like the next day. But because I'm in such close quarters to many of the warehouses,
Yeah.
everything comes like most of the time. If I order something now, I can have it before 11 p.m. I could get it
Wow.
delivered between 4 and 8 a.m. Like,
Wow.
so this idea of a robot coming is just amazing
Look,
to me.
I need my new
Yes,
sandals. I
Tammy.
need my new sandals to get out there. I think I will video it.
I want to see the video too.
It says 7 p.m. So, and it's the arrival of my new black Tivas. So I lost one the other day.
Yeah, but
so.
you
And
don't
tell
know if it
everyone
is
what
a
size
drone.
they are.
If it is a
14
drone, by people,
Tivas.
a
That's
wheel.
why you gotta. That's why you gotta order them
What'd you say,
from
Ricardo?
robots. Apparently.
I said he doesn't know if it is a drone, a bipedal robot, or a wheeled robot.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah, I want it to be an Optimus
I don't know.
robot, and he shows up with his little like walk, and then hands you the package
Yeah, no,
and says, "Thank you, Jason." That's what I want.
Jacqueline.
I'd be liable to try to take him. Let's see how off-road these things are. Take him down to the creek,
And now we know that Sarah.
I wouldn't need a cameraman. That's a thought.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? The argument for everyone to have their own personal Optimus robot is growing.
Yeah, but we can send it to Sarah. Now we know she can build computers, so she can rewire the Optimus.
Make me
to-
one, Sarah. Please.
You can weaponize these. No, I'm interested because the other Jacqueline, you remember that video I sent you a couple of weeks ago of the Amazon driver? And I
Yes.
recognized him.
Yes. Yes,
That's why I
ma'am.
would love a robot. I would love it. Would be so much better than this person that I saw driving this van. This was way too close to my house.
was
for
way
this
too
person to
close.
be.
Yeah.
It was just
It was something.
Much rather have a robot.
the shim of the hat. Like
Yes,
gotta
an Optimus Prime
bless
robot.
my house when
That's
he lives.
exactly what I want.
Yep.
Dude,
Yeah.
Optimus
I've had
Prime.
little. There's like an Asian guy now that like I don't know who's outsourcing, if it's FedEx or U.S. Mail, but they'll come and they'll drop it and like I'll be pulling out the driveway, right? And I mean it won't even be for me. They'll put it in your hand, and then they want pictures. They want pictures of everything.
Yeah.
They take a picture of the house. They take a picture of you. They take a picture of the
Yeah, yeah.
mailbox. And on one level
It's
you're like,
confirmation.
okay,
Yeah.
on one level, right? But on another level, you're like, what company is making you do that, and where is all this going?
It doesn't matter because it's already on the Google.
Look,
Well,
I,
yeah,
I
but-
did deliveries. And you have to prove them that you delivered stuff because people say they didn't.
Yeah.
So, for instance, when I was delivering magazines, right? What
Yeah.
people can do is they call there and say, "Ooh, I didn't got the
I
magazine,"
didn't get it. Yeah.
right? And they send another one because you want to give the one that you got to some friend,
I miss doing that,
Right.
if I'm being
and
honest.
then they take off your pay
Sarah.
off the company pay that magazine wasn't delivered. And so the next time you go there, they ask you take a picture of the magazine going into the box.
Mm.
Right.
That
And
doesn't
so-
mean that someone didn't come along and snatch it out.
After it's inside the box, no, you can snatch
Oh,
it
okay,
out.
like
but
a-
but
like
still, it's as soon as I put it in there, for instance, it doesn't fit. As soon as it's in there, I did my job. I cannot do any better. There's no one home. There's nowhere I can take it back. Right.
Hmm.
So
I get it.
people defend themselves because people lie. Oh, I didn't get it, or
They do. Yeah, yeah. They have to. And I actually appreciate, when you get the notification from Amazon, I want to see the picture of my item sitting on the threshold of my door.
Yeah, sure.
Feel warm, fuzzy.
Well, I get it. You know what I mean? Because then if it goes missing, I know to check the camera for somebody snatching it, right?
yeah, okay.
Right, the whole porch pirate thing, like that's why we had to get cameras because
Yeah.
like we live in a subdivision and there's people walking all the time, and if you take my package, I'm gonna take your life. I don't care if it's a
I'm gonna
box
kill
of
you.
M&Ms.
If you steal my toothpaste and toilet paper,
Stealing
it's
is
over.
stealing. I'm gonna fuck you up if you steal from me.
I just want to thank Jacqueline for the effort.
What?
You did press the mute button.
Oh, and then I coughed in your ears. So
Yeah.
sorry.
Whoopsie daisy.
I was wondering why you were laughing at me. I'm so
It didn't
sorry.
work.
Sometimes when I press the button here instead of on the screen, it doesn't work.
I always
Sorry.
use the screen. I don't touch mine because one
Yeah.
time my mic
Mine
fell
has a
off
mute
when I was
button,
on a
but-
podcast with Dan Richards, and so I just never let myself forget
Oh.
it.
Gotcha.
So we don't touch the mic.
Well, apparently mine doesn't work unless I hold it right here. So I
Right
can-
next to your lips.
Yeah, I've had to pick up a. It's like a prop, you know.
Yeah.
I keep,
Well,
I
you
keep
just need a
wanting to do
boom.
the Dave Chappelle, you know, but it doesn't work on here, you know.
you were told by very wise persons to put it.
Prop
You have to
doesn't
bang.
work right.
You have to bang it against your knee for it to work right. In that case, that's one of my favorite comedy stand-ups. It's such a good one. That's a really
It's
good one.
such a good move too. When
I think
you're
it was
cracking
Lee
yourself
told
up,
him,
you know?
just put the microphone in your mouth until it's in the middle of your ears. Then we
Yeah.
can listen to you.
Yeah, Lee said somewhere between here and there. That's where I needed the mic.
There you go.
Whatever. It's nice at nighttime when I do like the late night streaming because then I just, you know, you feel like a late night radio DJ just holding it right here.
You're listening
I
to
like.
Delilah.
Welcome
Yeah,
to the
which
dark side.
I actually like the sound of a voice really, really close to a mic because it does remind me of old school pirate radio. You know what I mean? I used to love stuff like that. And you just don't need it anymore because now we have the internet. So
Nope.
yeah.
This is the pirate radio. That was
That's
telling
true.
that-
That's
It
true.
is. It truly is.
Can we do an episode where we all speak into our mics like this, please? I just love the ASMR of it, like that buzz on the voice. It sounds awesome.
Yeah.
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 Where's your microphone, Ricardo? You're supposed to put it. Talk.
It doesn't change my voice. So
Yes, it does.
But then you start to
Don't
have
do that now.
another type of listeners. So
Yes.
There are ladies in the room.
There's ladies in the room.
You
doing all that.
gotta pretend it's really late at night, man.
Calm down the sexy, okay? Relax. Oh, she's hot.
Look, Jacqueline's fanning herself.
Um,
What you been learning about, Jacqueline?
Oh God, I knew you were gonna ask me. I really don't have anything
Well,
extra.
everybody else did.
I know. Okay. First of all,
I'm
I
just
just want to
joking.
disclaim myself. Okay. Because I already talked about this, but when I go into something, I go all the way, people. I go very deep and thoroughly. I have to go all the way. So I'm still working on so lately I've been thinking a lot about what is cultural preservation? What does it exactly look like in practice? And what does it mean as my role at the Institute? Maybe not fully actively right now, but in the future going forward, what's that gonna mean? You know? So not just as theory, but as daily work. How's that gonna play out?
Right.
And so I've just been wondering how to make that into a daily practice, essentially. Coming up with protocols like how do I use the skill sets that I already have or things that I can learn rather easily or understand rather easily or at least learn how to delegate or organize rather easily. How do I make that into practices that are going to be practical for our purposes, for the purposes of the Institute and in meaningful ways that are actually going to fulfill my role as the director of cultural preservation. So building systems to make, I did write a couple notes down just for you, Sarah.
Give me your address, and I'll start shipping you some stuff to practice on.
Yeah. So one of those things, it's funny that you mentioned that, Jason, because one of the skill sets that I definitely already have is a very deep understanding of photography. So a lot of things that need to be preserved is something simple. It's not something complicated, like artifacts. So where things were found, what place were they found, what's the size of the item, what does it look like, what's this angle, that angle. So in my lifetime, and when I tell people this, they get a little bit like, yeah, okay, girl, that sounds wild, but okay, sure. I didn't know that you told lies, but in my lifetime, I've probably taken in upwards of 1.5 million photographs. I actually did the math one day. And so I feel that I have a good grip on how to take a photograph of an artifact because I've done it a few times, you know. So last time we talked, I talked about like the workflow and protocol of how to document and properly archive an artifact. So yes, Jason, someday I will probably help you do a nice little catalog of all the delicious little bits that you have found.
I foresee it.
Yeah, I think so. Sometime they're going to need to be housed properly. So
There's a shit ton, and I just keep, all I can do is keep pulling them up and throwing them in a pile. So.
I know. So yeah, so I've been thinking I did first work, like we work from a place of knowledge, what we know to the unknown, right? So I started with things that I can easily combat. So that was something that was easy for me, doing like a protocol for digital preservation. So then I started thinking about all the other situations that we're going to encounter and how to meet standardized requirements for all of the things that will fall underneath the umbrella of the Institute. So digital, print, recordings, film, text, spoken word, stories from people, testaments, physical items, sites, photographs, maps, Ricardo. So I've just been making, because this is literally what anthropologists kind of do, is we categorize things, and archaeology especially categorizes things. That's the whole point of archaeology, is putting things into categories in a timeline. So yeah, I've just been working on and further developing my method. So working out active documentation, digital preservation, how to collaborate the knowledge from all the people that are involved, how to incorporate everyone else. So Jason and people like Sarah in PR, like how do we have public facing education and access and involve us with the people who are out there who have more information to contribute, and how do we just document everything? That's what I've been doing. So yeah, that's about it. It's so boring for most people, but there's nerds and geeks out there like me who find that absolutely thrilling. So
Well, yeah, it's the building blocks.
You also have a very
It's
good skill
quintessential.
on knowing when things were made, what time period they are, and so on and so forth. So it's not just photography, but
sure. I mean, I do have many years of research, and to be honest with you, it started as a personal interest. I've always been into like antiquities, antiques, artifacts, dating, research, just anything, finding out anything, when it was made, how it was made, who made it, where did it come from. I'm just a little bit of a nerd that way. So yeah, I'm trying to apply my base of knowledge that I have in a way that is meaningful for the Institute. Like, how do we develop stronger partnerships with museums, historical societies, so that when we are working collaboratively with them, we can say, this is what we can do, this is what we can offer, if they're struggling in places that, because not everybody knows how to take care of these things.
Correct.
Right? So it's important that, because the whole point of the Institute is essentially to preserve and proliferate and give access to information. Yeah, we need to have official protocols in place.
and we just learned today that Tammy just became secretary to the Mid-Houston Archaeological Association.
Yes, very cool, Tammy.
Very
That's
cool.
exciting.
Bravo. Yeah.
Report back.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, girl.
Bravo.
Yeah. And then from there, I'm gonna do kind of like a mock-up idea of community, because the Institute, we're still waiting on our big event. After that occurs, though, there's going to be, I feel like Like, how do we get everything moving into action? Like, how do we reach out to specific communities and invite involvement, right? And I'm trying to figure out how that plays into, like, how can I contribute to that in my role as the director of cultural preservation. Yeah, so all this nerdy research stuff is completely up my alley because I really enjoy categorizing, cataloging, documenting.
Perfect. You've already generated some ideas and material to send your way as well.
Yeah, so anything to do with that, or if there's any questions from anyone inside or outside of the institute, you know where to send them. Send them my way. Yes, because I have a very long working Word document right now. At some point, Cardinal Steve, if you are watching, you will receive said document so that you and I can go over one of our long, laborious editing chat dates to finalize said document. Yeah.
Damn,
Shout out though to Steve Wilbur.
Yeah, Steve Wilbur, shout out to you because
nobody in the institute works as hard as Steve Wilbur, and I'm
sorry y'all, but
nobody.
That man does 800 things at once, and that's on a slow day. That's for real. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
He is our director of operations. So.
He is directing all of the operations. I can attest to that.
He be operating. Like
he's operating.
Yes. Definitely an ops man.
Yeah.
So if you're going to have a meeting with him and it's between 15 minutes and 7 weeks, count with the 7 weeks because he's going to go through every single thing.
But that's what his position here though, like it needs that, and this is what we're talking about with like everyone's got a part to play.
Yes.
Like Jacqueline and her photos and having a procedure and a guideline for how things should be done, and like Shaman and his will to just freestyle life.
Research and development, man. Research and development.
I don't know why you went and bought shoes because you don't wear them.
You don't wear them anyway.
I meant to say that earlier. Like you're out there, you could have just walked around with one shoe on and no one would notice.
Sometimes shoes are called for and sandals are nice.
It's sticker season right now. There's stickers out there.
He needs the slippers because he never knows when he's going to be called again to be at Mar-a-Lago.
Okay.
Right. You gotta wear the slippers, the slippers, the sandals down there to dance around with the
I wanted to ask
weirdos.
you, Jason, did you ever get a leech on you?
I've never had a leech. No.
That is fascinating to me because if you were in all them kind of rivers and waterways like that, you are down in Alabama. Up here in Canada, you'd get a leech on you.
Yeah, we don't have a lot. Now, you can find some pockets, but again, it's mostly like stagnant stuff. No, in the water.
Yeah, maybe not in the full running rivers. You're right.
Yeah, no, it's.
You see them here and there, but like I can probably count on one hand the amount of times I've seen leeches around here, and it is always in like a stagnant creek or something.
Right. Right.
Okay.
So no, never dealt with that. And the stickers are not like what you think. I remember teaching Charlotte early when she was, wanting to go barefoot with me, that you look at a sticker patch and you think, oh my gosh, it's all stickers. But when you just go through it and you're using your eyes, you're not being careful. But you're not. Like 9 times out of 10, you don't step on stuff. You just got to learn.
You probably just got a thick patina on your feet.
Thick patina.
Well, it's winter, so not so much. But I've been too lazy, and it's been wintertime. I need to get out there. But you get accustomed to it, guys. You learn to sense a thorn.
Oh.
Thorns, like briars, that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
But you do, just imagine walking on your hands for a second, not like the weirdness of having to stand on your hands, but imagine if you were walking on your hands. Think of how you would feel everything, right? Like if you put your hand down on a piece of glass, you'd stop. You wouldn't put your full weight down because you're used to using your hands to feel things. It's the exact same with your feet, guys. I would spend so long barefoot that it got to where I would make jokes. I'd go on a construction site wearing shoes and I'd step on a damn nail, but when I go barefoot, never, because you get in tune with your feet just like you do with your hands. So as soon as you feel that sharp thing, you roll, you pull your arch up where you don't put your weight down. it's just doing it a couple of times. It's yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
We weren't
It's that
born with
connection.
shoes. We're not supposed to. Right. It's your connection.
Sure.
It's an interesting point because
15 minutes a day, whoever you
Do
are,
it.
you ought to be barefoot on the earth for 15 minutes a day minimum.
we are walking, placing the heel on the floor first. Right? That's how
Yeah.
we are walking today. But that's not how.
Yeah, I don't walk like that.
That's not how.
I don't walk like that. I
Bush
walk with the
people
front
or
of my feet first.
yeah, always the feet first. Always the little toesies.
I use the outside edges too.
Yep.
Yeah, but you can grab a tree and hook yourself
Right.
head down, right, with your feet. So
Say hi.
you have them trained.
Yeah,
Sing your song. Go ahead.
I like climbing trees.
Maximilian.
What's wrong with you?
The whole world's watching. Say it.
Kitty?
Hi, Maxie.
Say it. Can you hear him purring?
He's like, but it won't annoy you now.
He's shy.
He's not shy.
He's not shy.
No.
Dude, stop chewing on the chair. Thank you.
Well, we're at what?
You had a
2:04?
chance.
You want to go ahead and
And Sarah,
it.
I keep forgetting
Sure.
this. I think we have to send an email to Lee to add to our State of History documentary.
Pennington or Claire?
I love you. I
It's
love
not
you.
left me your confusion.
We need to publish our Lee Claire letters. What we need to do.
Thanks.
And
Jacqueline.
Jason had a mall to chase, but he forgot, didn't you?
Mm.
No, I did forget.
Okay, y'all, we've reached the portion of the chat where we're gonna start having a mini board meeting.
Fine. And I did forget to look at them all. I'm also fascinated with the top of the mountain. That's probably why.
I'm guessing Pennington, Sarah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just seen Dan Richards cussing out Lee Claire. That's why. I
Yeah,
asked.
He's been doing it
on
all
the past
week.
few days.
Who
Yeah.
is
Oh,
I'll
this
yeah.
ask Lee Claire.
Who
Y'all
is
want me to ask Lee Claire if he'll come
Do it,
be on
do
our
it, do it.
documentary?
Yeah, yeah.
Remember the one that called
Please,
this
maybe he
show
says yes.
despicable?
Who are these people?
Yeah.
A
Oh,
boy.
that's Lee Claire.
Yeah.
Claire.
The archaeologist at Göbekli Tepe that called this show despicable.
Well, he
No,
called
he didn't.
Sarah
It was
and I
abhorrent.
despicable,
Or
and we're
whatever.
abhorrent.
Abhorrent.
Yeah.
Not
Who-
despicable.
who's-
Who
Abhorrent.
are these young ladies? I do.
Abhorrent. That's what I
want-
forgot. Yeah.
I do want to acknowledge that he called us young and ladies. So I mean,
He got part of it right.
he did.
You are abhorrent to the system, and that's as it should be. So
I know.
you know.
I know we should be ashamed of ourselves. Though. Mm.
We're not.
Who is
No,
this?
no.
Institute
By
for
everything we said.
Philosophy? Are they using it for credibility?
You're on the
Yes,
right side of this
that's
thing,
good
and at
too.
the end of the
Something?
day, that's all that matters. Is you guys are on the right side, and he's on the wrong side of it, and that's all that matters.
Well, the
Like,
guy is.
I would feel bad for him. Sorry, Ricardo. Like I would feel bad for him, but then he opens his mouth, and he's so ignorant to people, and he's just so
Hubristic.
yes. So it's
We
really
also
difficult
have-
to feel for someone like that.
We also
Excuse
have
me,
AJ
but
of
did
the
everybody on
Wi-Fi.
X not realize that your shit does not smell like mine? You know, it's he does a lot of that. You know.
Yeah, he's very living in another world. Continue, Sarah.
AJ from the Wi-Files and Ashton Forbes got their own little beef
Yeah.
going on right now.
I
too.
saw that too. Yeah.
And AJ's fans apparently had a festival over it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't do that. You can't.
You're speaking code.
I muted Ashton quite a while back just because I got tired of. No, it's not what he was saying; it was how he was saying it. Like,
Yeah, there's ways to engage and there's ways not to engage.
calling people, and I've said it on here before, calling people a fucking moron is not going to help them see it from your perspective in any
Yeah.
reality.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. You're hurting
I see the
things.
problem. It's me because I'm a fucking moron. Okay.
Yeah.
Bad.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, I told you I was retarded up front.
Right? Yeah. I just have a general intolerance for anyone who A, cannot admit that they don't know everything, or B, cannot at least admit when they are egregiously and obviously wrong.
Well, but he is the second or third responsible person by Gobekli Tepe, so he cannot say that he
Lee
doesn't know
Claire.
anything. No,
Yeah, that's the thing. Lee Claire. Yeah.
so he cannot say I don't know everything because people will, whoa, then you
Then what are
shouldn't
you
be in
doing
that
there?
position. Yeah, because you don't
Yeah,
know.
but okay,
Problem with the expert class.
it's right. It's fine if you don't know everything, because goddamn, which among us does? However, my problem is when you pretend that you have an answer for everything instead of saying, you know what, shit, I don't know that answer. What do you guys think? Or at least being open to the entertainment of other people's opinions. You could completely disagree. Believe me, I've heard some doozies, but I still sit there and politely listen and say, okay, explain this to me, or, give me some more information on that. It's not about, you don't need to be disrespectful to people because they don't think like you do. And just because you think a specific way and you hold a specific title does not give you a license to make the law over that land. I'm sorry, but get fucked.
human nature. y'all.
Respectfully, get fucked. Yeah.
Amen.
Amen.
Yeah. I mean,
People, it's all right to be wrong. In fact, I hope that each one of you go forth in your day and find that you have been wrong about something, because you know what? You might learn something.
Well, I
Where your
agree with
growth
Mark
is.
Twain, who said the point of the day was to learn something. He said, if I learned something today, or then I adapted that to say growing with each day. But
That's right.
how can you go through a life if you can't learn and grow every day when the point is to learn and grow? Like, what kind of
Exactly.
torturous existence?
What a
is
boring
that?
life if you already
Yeah,
knew
what are
everything.
you what are you doing to yourself, man? To
Yeah.
not let yourself learn and grow.
Mhm.
That's what I don't like.
If the only thing you read and the only people that you talk are people that agree with you,
You don't actually know shit.
you are not
don't
going to
learn.
learn much.
Yeah.
You need to people that disagree with you to learn something,
Yeah.
right? And this works for all of us.
Not just about the topic, but about yourself and about other people and about everything around you in general. Because if your narrow view, because I'm sorry, but you only have two eyes and you just see what's in front of you at all times. If your narrow view is the end all be all, then that's just a weird way for you to live, in my opinion.
Well, they
It's
did a
just-
test in New York, like maybe more than 10 years ago, and they discovered that people only observed more or less 2 meters in front of them on the floor. So they have not even to the horizon. People look down about, so 2 meters, what would that would be in feet? I have no idea.
Right.
6 feet.
Yes, 6 feet. You're correct. That's 6 feet. So that's what people see in front of them is 6 feet.
Math.
The math
That's what's
people.
up. Math. Knuckles.
Well, y'all, we've hit the 2 hour and 11-minute mark, and bless the people who are still here hanging out with
Yeah.
us.
You are.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so I think we fulfilled our mission to have a UU crew. Everyone's out in the world doing their thing, being busy, doing reading, writing, research, discovery. This is what it's all about. And
That's
then
it.
Arithmetic.
reading,
Sorry.
writing, and arithmetic. So not me. I failed grade 10 math twice.
We have, when you
What?
start talking about what everybody's doing, all I can see is what an incredible unit we have here in front
Yeah,
of
we're
us.
very
And
lucky.
I don't care what anybody in any position has to say about it. We are very fortunate, and the
Yeah.
legs that is on this thing, all I see is like a infinite millipede running in front of me.
Sure. And I just want to reiterate to anyone watching, just quickly before we wrap up. Like, you see the four of us, but there are so many people that we stand beside and stand behind us,
Yep.
and that you don't get to see, who are doing so much work for the Institute for Natural Philosophy. And it's like a machine of people all contributing this or that. So
Jeffrey, George.
like so many.
Yep.
There's besides the four of us, there's
Chris, Steve, George,
there's
Jeffrey,
like so many people, and
several
they're all
people
spread
that-
out all over the
Yeah.
place.
and people that
Chris,
just sort
Chris
of
is the
jump
reason
in.
I'm here. I'm here because Chris facilitated
Right.
that. So and he has
And
done
then
so
you
much for us and for so many people. So
Mhm.
think of
Mhm.
Vince Barrows and all these other people that are starting to come in and want to be, have their part in it. It's
For
just
sure.
it's ever growing.
Well, that's
and,
the
ever
idea,
building.
like to proliferate our group and
Yep.
the work that we're doing and to bring people on board. And don't forget this, like our efforts are all nonprofit. So everyone that's involved is doing this out of just a love of the work. So
Completely.
yeah,
This much, and actually, it's negative because podcasting costs $40 a month. So
it does. Or more, actually, it costs more.
right.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah, it's for the love of it, and that's
yeah.
what's going to pay off, and it's foundational. There are foundations being set, and that's what that's what matters, not Lee Claire's opinion.
I love that he
That
called me
motherfucker.
abhorrent. I'm good with
I
it.
know. I know.
That made my whole year.
You
Yeah.
represent the system, and you don't like me. Oh, fuck yes.
Yeah.
Oh, what are we gonna do?
That was the sticker I was looking for.
I want him to come to my my graduation when I get my degree in anthropology.
We'll send him an invitation.
Is
How
that too
about that?
petty? Is that petty?
That's
Anyway.
find the abhorrent.
He may even not realize who you are and just send a gift. So
Send me a
That,
prezi.
that's the thing is
Yeah.
he probably wouldn't even remember you two. He
Maybe
just commented,
maybe I
just
could get
throws-
a little work program over
He
there
throws
under
trash
his
out
under
of
his
his mouth.
direction. See how he likes that.
He throws
know
trash
me,
out of his
remember?
mouth just as quickly as he buries artifacts. I mean, he probably wouldn't even know who you two were if he saw a picture again, and
Yeah.
that's not better.
No.
Yeah, but the question is, who is above him? Because he is the second.
Yeah. Well, obviously it's
There is the
government.
first,
I
and
would
there is
say
the
it's
director.
governmental or private sector funding, right? That's the person that's above him, which is neither is very good, especially
Yeah,
if it's
still
a
sucks.
secret. Yeah, anything in secret is usually nefarious.
Suck. Right.
Yeah.
That's where all the problems start.
All right, y'all. Let's wrap this
See
up.
ya. Secrets are bad. Goodbye.
Well,
Yes. Thank you, Ricardo. Get back to work.
yeah, I have to.
Yeah. Tell Jim we said thank you for lending you to us for the afternoon. We appreciate the time.
Yep.
Jason, thank you for dropping in at the last second again for the second time this week, saving my
No, that was
butt
all
on
me.
the Sunday
the
news.
lifesaver.
I wasn't saving
Mhm.
anybody's butt today because y'all told me about this last week.
Well,
So
crap happens.
I just got busy and forgot. That was
That's
on me.
cool. But we're
But,
used to you being like that, so it's like okay.
I'm always
Yeah.
here. There might be a story behind it, but I'm here. Damn it.
And Sarah, Dolly, thank you for all of the little bits of work that you have put in. Who's here? Oh, there's a dog in the room.
Is a doggy.
There's a doggo.
Oh, pretty.
He's Cherry
What
and
kind of
Jay.
doggy? Is that a golden doodle?
It's got a big bushy tail. It looks like.
We are finishing. Yeah, we're finished.
That's a golden doodle.
Yeah. Yeah, Dolly, thank you for the shorts and the edits and the stuff that you've done this week and last week, like, for the last year. It's
Holy
been
shit,
wonderful.
David Wilcock died?
No. Did he?
Who's that?
Oh, no.
David Wilcock from Ancient Aliens and all those
Wow.
shows?
That's two of them now.
Damn.
Oh, I thought it was.
What the
Who's
hell
the other one?
happened?
Is it Wilcock?
You said just two. Who's the other one?
What's his face? Died like 2 weeks ago. Sarah, what's the other guy's name? These are young people, too.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is
Yeah.
young. My goodness.
Mm,
Yeah, he was a young guy with the nice hair.
Yes. Yeah. Blonde guy. Yeah. Wow.
Suicide. Oh.
Oh, no.
Oh no, they suicided him.
I love how that's
Well,
your
how many
default,
Ancient
Jason.
Aliens?
Well,
cast
have you
members
seen
do
his
we all-
material? I mean,
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Well, he started. I'm sorry. He started as an arrogant prick.
He
And
did.
remained
Yeah, I
an
didn't like him
arrogant
that
prick
much.
for a long time. But then he got better and better. And by the time he made Cosmic Disclosure with the guy from 14 and back,
Yeah.
or 21 and back, he was. I could watch him because he always had good data. The problem is how he presented it. To me, it was too aggressive.
No, it's
No, thanks for the news, Tammy.
yeah. I didn't know much about him other than Ancient Aliens and a few other shows.
I've watched him ad nauseum on Gaia.
Have you? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
a lot of his content on there. Anyway, y'all, everything's apart. Thank you everyone for watching. We really appreciate it, and yeah, everyone,
Rest in
go
peace.
forth
And
into the world.
as Ricardo's dream told us, let your childlike spirit carry you through the madness which is befalling all around us. We're going to be great. We're going to have fun even. Get on the bus with us at the Institute of Natural Philosophy. I'm sure there's a seat for you. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Have an awesome
Thank you.
week. Love you. Bye.
Bye.